Good evening, THL. Welcome to Salty Saturday. I am Donde. You may remember me as the guy who made you guys stay up really late last night on Friday Night Fights. It was like an hour and a half series, so that was fun. And I'm joined tonight by fellow disc sport enthusiast Markshire. Markshire, how are you this evening?
I'm doing great, Donde. It is great to be back. Appreciate you inviting me to cast tonight. It's been probably almost a year since I've casted in THL, but I am excited to get back into it.
Well, we're glad you're here, and I'm happy to be back as well. It's been a couple weeks since I've casted, and we should have a couple good matches for you tonight, so I'm excited. Without further ado, let's talk about them, because we've got one hero match. That'll be our first match this evening. Shoebacca of Teen Hearth Legends versus Shunsui of ATL, and that'll be followed up later by Anfal of the Hot ZILFS versus ItsMeMikeV of Good Luck Albatrosses, and that's Legacy. So we will be doing a little Conquest and a little Last Hero Standing. So let's talk about our first match first, Shoebacca versus Shunsui. Just looking at the classes here, obviously it is a complete mirror, and it is even a mirror insofar as they have both opted to ban Hunter, which is not surprising based on the strength of the class. Since we've really got nothing to go on class-wise, obviously, do you have any sort of thoughts, Markshire, on who you think might be favored in this matchup here?
Yeah, so when you say a complete mirror, but Shunsui has Warlock and Shoebacca has Priest instead.
What? Did I misread that? Or are you looking at the wrong series?
It's Hero Shoebacca against Shunsui?
Yes, sir.
So Shoebacca's on Druid, Hunter, Priest, and Rogue, and Shunsui on Hunter, Paladin, Rogue, and Warlock.
Right? I think I probably took Shoebacca's classes from Legacy and put them on here, so we're gonna fix that real quick.
So you gave me the right because I just checked the website, but you DM'd me the right classes. So.
Well, I tell you what, we've got some great casting tonight. If this is how we're starting out,
it's off to a great start for sure. But looking at it, I mean, still fairly similar classes, and we do see that double Hunter ban. So I haven't played in Hero and Legacy for actually, I think, the past almost year, and I'm not playing in either of those closed list series this season. But if I had to venture to guess into some of the strategy that's going on, I'm really not surprised at all to see this double Hunter ban, because Hunter is just one of the most versatile classes out there, and that's usually one of those classes that ends up drawing a ban in Hero or in Legacy, because there's just so many ways you can go. Highlander Hunter, Quest Hunter, Face Hunter I know has done pretty well recently in qualifiers, Dragon Hunter, and definitely more besides that, and they're all very strong decks, so not too surprised to see those bans.
Yeah, and of course with Last Hero Standing, it is a series that you can target, or you can't really target, I should say, like you can in Conquest, and you kind of want to avoid the decks that have the biggest sweep potential, which, like you're talking about there with Hunter being so versatile, there's a lot of them that do have some decent sweep potential in lineups, or against really any lineup, so it's not surprising, like you said, at all to see the Hunter ban. So that being said, do you have any thoughts on what you expect to see within the archetypes of the specific classes?
Sure, yeah, so I would venture that Priest is probably just fairly one-dimensional, and that's just pretty consistent with how Priest usually is as a class. I think we'll probably expect to see a Res Priest there, and then out of the Rogue, which both players brought, probably just the standard Galakron Rogue, which is getting more popular than the Highlander Galakron Rogue. Still a very solid deck, but I would bet that we'll see those. As for the Warlock, that's a one that isn't quite as common, and I'm not really sure. People do seem to like that control, sort of like the no hands lock kind of deck, but also there's some Galakron Zoo Rogue still around, so I'm not really sure what we'll see out of that, but I guess we'll have to find out.
We definitely will, and we are going to get the players here going very shortly. I assume you've got them all friended up by now, is that right?
Yes, I do. We are all ready to go.
All right, well, I will give them the go-ahead, and it will be Shoebacca on the bottom, and it will be Shunsui on the top. So for the viewers at home, you will, hopefully I haven't screwed that part up. I make no promises at this point. I apologize. Content Hall of Famer, by the way.
But by the way,
by the way. This is just want to point out, really feel like I'm deserving it right now. Thanks, guys. First time I've casted since that honor, and I'm I appreciate it, but not really a good showing for me.
Yep. And once they get into it, I will make sure to spectate Shoebacca first as well, get him on the bottom and Shunsui at top, so we are aligned in our viewpoints. And I think that'll make for a much more synergistic casting experience.
Oh yeah, no, you know what we're going for is synergy tonight. We're going for as few mistakes as possible,
Absolutely.
which will certainly not be 0 at this point. I tell you what, I do almost have this fixed though, fortunately.
Ooh, nice. Donde, as they get ready to get into it, any thoughts on the current standings of either of these teams within Hero Series?
You know, one of the reasons we try to target matches, of course, that are pretty pivotal on any given week, and this is no exception here. These are two teams that are right in the thick of the playoff hunt, with Teen Hearth Legends at 88 points entering the week and ATL at 84 points. That puts Teen Hearth Legends in 4th, by the way, with, you know, of course, ATL only 4 points behind out of the playoff race right now. So this is a very important matchup. It could make or break either of these teams' seasons. Right now, it's only a 4-2 lead for THL, so we're not looking at a real, big gap at this point. Obviously, if Shoebacca wins tonight for THL, that could put ATL on the ropes, especially considering that 4-2 was on the heels of a win Avi over Blue Spartan, who was previously undefeated for ATL. So that's huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'll have to correct you again. Based on the current results on the website,
no.
we also, Catman has a sweep over Binoculars, so Teen Hearth Legends is actually up 8-2. So
you're gonna tell me that they updated in between me adding all the stuff to the ticker at the bottom of the screen?
That is it, and I think they set their match exactly so it would mess you up on this cast. Just
Brutal.
wanted to make sure, get those results in just in that window, so you would be incorrect. Yeah, really, really good job by Catman and Binoculars, scheduling for sure. Man. Scheduling Hall of Fame potential for those two.
Yeah, I really, I should be more particular in the future about letting people know that they can't have matches right around their teammates' matches going on stream, because it's just not friendly to me as a caster. So yeah.
Right, and yeah, it really. But yeah, Catman, big 3-0 win over Binoculars, who was a sub this week. So if Shoebacca wins, that will be Teen Hearth Legends will clinch the week, which is would definitely be huge for their playoff hopes.
Yes, definitely, and we will see if that happens here, as they are jumping in game right now.
Nice.
Waiting for the little eye to pop up on my friends list here, and there we go.
Yes. And waiting to get into it. Let's see. Looks like we have Shoebacca on Rogue and Shunsui on Paladin, and looks like a Galacron Rogue. Can't tell if this is normal Galacron or just Highlander yet. And Shunsui on the Mech Paladin. Not too surprised to see that over maybe a Holy Wrath Paladin, which is probably the weaker of the two classes, and definitely takes someone with a lot of experience with the deck.
I do appreciate you taking us through that, as I was just getting in there for some reason. I had to click like 6 times to let me in game here.
Oh yeah, I mean that'll spectate client still some bugs to work out, but Shoebacca. Of course, Shoebacca looks like he chose to just keep the sap. Makes sense if you expect the Mech Paladin, because if they are going to magnetize a lot of things, maybe onto one small minion, they put a lot of stuff on a Galvanizer, on a Mecharoo, you can just sap that and take away all of those buffs. So kind of requires a hard read that your opponent is Mech Paladin rather than a Holy Wrath, but one that Shoebacca feels comfortable making, and I think it'll work out for him here.
I think that's a pretty solid read in general. Holy Wrath has not been a very popular pick, although I will say it is more popular in Last Hero Standing, because if you're going to target one thing, Holy Wrath is a very good deck for that. However, I don't think you would lead with it if it was going to be Holy Wrath, because then you don't know what you're targeting at that point.
That's actually, yeah, and I'm wondering, it's very possible that entered into Shoebacca's reasoning, because you're right, Holy Wrath Paladin, pretty polarizing deck. It's going to be something you want to save as a specific counter, not just throw it out as your first deck. But Galacron Rogue and Mech Paladin, both solid choices, pretty good matchups across the board.
And as we enter into turn 2 here, not a whole lot of options there for Shoebacca. He's just going to go ahead and dagger up. It does see the Righteous Cause quest that came out for Shunsui, which for those who didn't catch it, summon 5 minions, give your minions +1/+1. I don't know if that's necessarily a very common pick in Mech Paladin, but that I think because if you magnetize things onto other things, they don't count as their own minions.
No, so you're right about that. It doesn't count. I think with some of the cards that came out with the recent adventures, like Air Raid, you can get to that number a little bit more quickly, and it can work out there. But again, I don't know if that's the most standard inclusion, to be honest. But yeah, looking at it here, Shoebacca has a pretty slow hand, and in order to even get a proc on Galakrond, he'll have to buff his opponent's minions. I don't think he'll choose to do that. There really isn't much that he can do. He might just have to chill and hope that Shunsui goes all in on one minion, and then he can sap that.
Yeah, he's certainly looking at the phrase Galakrond, which we are going to see come out. And
interesting.
Okay, I thought he was reaching for sap there for a second. That
it looked like premature.
And so yes, the Eviscerate will slow the immediate threat down a little bit. Doesn't feel great to have to use it this early, but you know, he doesn't want to take too much damage out of the gate.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not sure I agree with that play because yes, like Shoebacca doesn't really have much else to do, but he's not really facing that much pressure. I think he might have wanted to wait until he can actually get, you know, maybe get that attack buff off, wait for a swing turn where he can sap something, rather than going in kind of wasting the buff on that, but we'll see.
Replicating Menace does come down onto the Galvanizer to make it a little bit larger. One thing I probably would have liked to see there is maybe using the other Galvanizer first and then using the Replicating Menace, just to get the maximum amount of stuff on board, but you know, holding the Galvanizer back, maybe he felt like, alright, I was only going to hit one thing in my hand, I only had one other mech, maybe worth it to see if I can get better value, but I feel like that's a little too greedy.
Yeah, I think he's just maybe Shunsui is hoping he gets some more mechs in hand and gets a little bit more value out of that Galvanizer. But like you were saying, you know, at this point there isn't going to be a ton of value just for waiting it. So maybe just getting that 1/2 on the board can be nice, and you know, maybe you draw something that you can magnetize onto the Galvanizer next turn.
We do see the sap come down for Shoebacca. You know, it seems like that might have been the right spot for it. It did have the added value of the 3/1 that could create even more mechs on board. So I don't necessarily mind it. He doesn't, again, as we've talked about, have a very, very low curve hand right now. And even with the spell spell Lackey, he picked up Turncoat Contract for destroy a minion, and it deals its damage to adjacent minions. So basically, it's you know, Assassinate plus Betrayal in one card.
Yeah. Definitely could be nice. Pretty slow for an aggressive deck, going against an aggressive deck like Mech Paladin, and Shoebacca has a pretty slow hand in general, but I can definitely see Turncoat Contract coming into handy, possibly next turn.
Big pick up there for the Seal of Fate. He didn't have a very clean way to get rid of that Skyclaw, but that Seal of Fate is exactly what he's looking for. And hey, Witchy Lackey, I know that card very well from last night. For anyone who watched the stream, I basically only drew Witchy Lackeys for the first 2 games, which has its drawbacks.
Yeah. And Shoebacca just choosing to clear off another minion on the board rather than go for this Witchy Lackey on the 1/1, which wouldn't have done much anyways. It feels sort of bad. He just has like almost everything in his hand. He isn't playable. He's got a bunch of 6-drops and then Leroy Shadow Step, which he's very far away from doing anything in this game, but I think holding on to that Witchy Lackey is a good call. Maybe he can combo it with Flick or something on turn 7.
And he does have options going forward here, knowing that Shun's going to want to try and go a little bit wider on board. That Turncoat Contract could come into play. Obviously, he could pick up Galakrond with Gronks, this next turn, and he's got 2 invokes thus far, so it wouldn't be fully invoked at this point. And oh man, and a second Righteous Cause for Shunsui. And Blessing of Kings as well is just a lot of damage piling up really quick for Shoebacca.
Yep. Yeah, definitely, yeah, solid play from Shunsui. And with this True Silver in hand too, if you can get another minion to stick next turn and get that blessing on it, then he's in a great spot. But Shoebacca does have the full clear. Yeah, that backstab pickup is huge for him, and I think we'll definitely see the backstab.
Well, actually not little does he know, he sent that other Galvanizer to hand. So he knows he's about to get a twofer on the hand, and yeah, there it goes. And if he can get the Witchy Lackey down onto the flick without the True Silver Champion taking it out next turn, he might be in business here. Oh, never mind. He's going to
Shadow Step on the flick. I like this. I like this a lot.
Yes.
Yeah. He doesn't need to save Shadow Step for Leroy. Shoebacca is not in a place where he's looking to end the game early. Right now, he wants to run Shunsui out of cards, and I think that's something that you see a lot in this matchup. Unless Rogue gets a really nice, bleed with Lackeys early, they're going to look to just run the Paladin out of cards, and I think Shoebacca can do this pretty effectively with his hand and with the value he'll get from this extra flick.
Yeah, one downside of Mech Paladin is, in fact, the lack of card draw in it. And here is the Galakrond draw for Shoebacca using Kronks. Witchy Lackey is going to come down on the Kronks. Let's see what we get. Oh, no, Angelina.
And the value of playing the Witchy Lackey on a 6-mana 6/6 is not that high already. Obviously, this is a low roll, but I don't think on average you get something that's much better than a 6/6, so maybe he could have saved that, comboed it with the flick later, where he's more likely to actually get a buff in stats.
Yeah, I think I personally would have been just fine with him leaving the 6/6 out as is, but hey, maybe you're hoping here for like a high roll Heist Baron Togwaggle draw, but yeah, he's again very dangerously low on health. 11 health is not a great feeling right now, especially with another 4 damage incoming here from Shunsui this turn. I expect this to go face anyway.
Definitely. I think it will, and this replicating menace is actually pretty annoying for Shoebacca. He doesn't have a great way to deal with a wide board, and any of these minions sticking at least means that Shunsui can magnetize the Annoyo module, and he can pick it up another.
I would imagine the Lackey goes in here, and then Flick ends up hitting the three ones, but no. Galakrond comes down right now.
I kind of like this, actually. I don't think Shoebacca doesn't need to wait to get full value to get a couple extra cards, get that 5/5 weapon. He just right now really wants that 5 armor and really wants the tempo swing he's going to get here, and gets rewarded very well with the Shield of Galakrond draw for sure.
Blade Flurry would have been a little bit nicer if he had the claw, but Vendetta's just fine.
Yeah, this is fine, and Shoebacca looks to be in a very solid spot, especially that Bone Wraith pickup off the Pharaoh Cat. That is likely to lock Shunsui out of the game.
Yeah, more taunts is good taunts against an aggressive deck, and even with the second Skyclaw for Shunsui, it's barely he's gonna be able to get through that shield, but once that's done, it's probably just about it for Shunsui in terms of gas. There's just not a lot of draw here. And it looks like Shoebacca's most likely going to get off to a 1-0 lead. And I love Hearthstone for this reason, because you can look at a game and just say, oh man, Shunsui has like double the health of Shoebacca, so how could he possibly not be in the lead? But anyone experienced can read a board state here and know that this is really not a great situation for the Paladin.
Absolutely, and this is pretty common, I would just say, for Rogue as a class, and especially for this, which I think we haven't seen any duplicates, right? Are we pretty confident this is Highlander Rogue at this point?
No, we've seen 2 saps. Well, second sap.
Oh no, anyway. You're right about that. Okay, so this is a standard Galakrond Rogue, so okay, but still, standard Galakrond Rogue will definitely take a little bit of a beating early, use its hero power, hit in with its dagger to leverage tempo, and then as you get to the mid to late game, it'll really extend its lead, and especially card advantage in this point.
Now this is actually a pretty brutally wide board that just ended up happening, but we've got let's see, we've got Flick as an option, we've got the Contract as another option, probably kind of thinking about how do I get as much of this stuff down as humanly possible. What is the way here? I think Bone Wraith needs to be a play. Maybe you flick all the 2/1s, or maybe even the 4/5. I don't know.
This is super interesting, actually. I kind of like the flick and Bone Wraith combo. He could even go for the sap here if he wants. Okay, yep. I like this a lot, actually. It does mean that a 1/1 will live, and he'll take some face damage with the Annoy module being magnetized, but he's still just in overall a very strong position here.
Whoa, good pickup there too. That is amazing. Now he's going to have a giant Annoy module plus the 5/5 on top of it. So that's what, another 7-9. So that's going to be an 8-10. And that's going right to the face with the with both of these being magnetized onto it. And now, obviously, Flick. Oh no, he's going to go max damage.
This is smart, right? Because Shunsui knows he knows the Flick is there. The Annoy module can maybe come in handy earlier, getting that Divine Shield. Whereas Blessing of Kings, right now, you know it's going to get you 4 damage. So
that's right. It is a very heads up play, knowing what's in your opponent's hand there. And, the Flick was an obvious choice, no doubt there, but yeah, that taunt is going to make Shunsui pretty sad.
Yeah, and at this point, even though Shoebacca is only at 6 health, if Shunsui somehow finds a way to get this taunt out of the way, and then maybe he's running Leroy in his deck, he could close out the game. I think it's pretty likely Shoebacca doesn't draw any other taunts or ways to heal. But at this point, if Shoebacca can just keep that taunt alive, he's looking to be in a very strong spot.
And he will have, obviously, the infinite value generator in the Galakrond hero power, where he gets a Lackey every turn. Ooh, the Knife Juggler, that's not a terrible pickup.
That's one of the better 2-drops for sure.
Yeah, no problem using the Eviscerate here.
Yeah. Why not? I probably would have led with the Miscreant first, but I mean, this is essentially the same thing. You know, you're playing Miscreant, you're gonna get some pings out of it. Oh yes, wow. Very solid pickups, and this is just
extra brutal. I would have swung in first there just to guarantee the knife didn't hit it. But yeah, minor damage, no big deal.
Yeah, no, definitely. Few minor ordering errors, but it doesn't matter that much when you're as far ahead as Shoebacca is, and this is definitely lethal for next turn, right?
Absolutely, yeah, with Leroy, no doubt.
12. I think it's 2 over with the Kobold Lackey. Yep.
By the way,
that is going to wrap it up.
I would be remiss if I didn't say that you could call THL streams, the slogan could be minor ordering errors.
Minor order? Yeah, it's, yeah, definitely something you see a lot.
So with that, we are now down. It's 1-0 in the favor of Shoebacca here, and as we mentioned before, this is last year's standing, so we're gonna see that rogue again, and the paladin, the mech paladin that Shunsui brought, cannot be played. So looking here, do you think he's going to? I would say, I guess if the rogue is Zoo, I'm sorry, the rogue Zoo. If the warlock is Zoo, we might see that into the rogue, as it has, enough speed to kind of get underneath, but rogue just doesn't have too many bad matchups.
Yeah, I agree. I think the rogue is looking to be in a very strong spot. Just looking at the classes, I feel like Shunsui may have been better positioned with a Zoo Warlock, so we'll find that instead. But I guess we'll see, and he could always go for the mirror, and he does. Yeah, just so I guess Shunsui thinks his best choice is just to win this matchup, which is going to be a 50-50.
And I like how wherever you're casting from has quicker internet than me, because you saw the matchup before I was. I don't know. I'm just gonna let you take the wheel. That's fine with me.
Wow. So, I mean, it's because I'm watching it on iPad for sure. That's yeah, it's the iPad internet connectivity.
THL Apple sponsorship incoming.
Ooh, by the way, I mean, if anything. But yeah, so I don't know if you're in yet, Donde, but we are in fact seeing. Okay, great. We are in fact seeing the Galaxy mirror, and Shoebacca looking to be off to a much better start than he was in the first game, with the Pharaoh Cat being able to go for the Praise of Galakrond plus Lackey next turn, or this Grand Mummy if he wants to, and having Kronks and another Galakrond activator in hand.
I think with the Kronks, yeah, I think the Praise might be the right play, which he's gonna drop.
Yep,
let's see what we get for Lackey.
Oh, and I mean that's the best one in this situation, right? That's exactly what you want.
And that's a pretty good roll out of the 2-drop too. Yeah, I think again, minor mistake there. You might want to put the Lackey on the left side just in case it is a dire wolf that buffs the 2/2. But it's not a big deal here, because it didn't actually affect anything. But Shunsui does, luckily for him, have a Sealed Fate in order to counter that 2/3 that could have caused problems.
Yep, solid pickup for sure. But I mean, Shoebacca, with the Shield of Galakron again, if he wants to, can go coin shield into shield and then already have 3 procs, possibly going into a Kronk's turn.
I see no problem with that.
Shunsui's hand, definitely slightly worse. He does have this activator this turn with a Devoted Maniac, but not a ton else going on in his hand. I'm really interested to see the Dragon Maw Poacher. What do you think he put that in his deck for? Any particular matchups?
Probably a Biggin Druid would be my guess. Since it is just Dragon Central for the most part. And no, Priest doesn't usually have any sort of dragons in it, so no, it has to be for the Druid.
And neither does this deck, I don't think. Neither does the Rogue. So even just from Biggin, though, I feel like you're kind of making a hard read, because it's pretty likely the Druid could be token too. But maybe he set this deck up so it would be specifically a Druid counter.
Very possible. And I guess at worst it's a 4/4 for 4, so it's not like it's a dead card.
Yeah, it's not horrible. Yeah, and I mean it's below average for the curve, but it's a tech card. Yeah, you expect that. Definitely does a lot against Embiggen Druid, so I can see that for sure.
And as we mentioned, Last Hero Standing is a format of counters and text, so that's not a bad thing at all. And big draw with the Galakron.
Oh wow,
Shoebacca's
luck continues. Now. Yeah, that Kronks is going to come down after, and Shoebacca, depending on how he draws, I can definitely see him just playing Galakron when it's not fully upgraded, because he knows he'll be able to have that activated Kronks next turn. He could possibly use it to make a lethal push in the next couple turns.
I know he's got Shadow Step and Leroy in hand. Is there a situation where he might decide to Shadow Step the Galakron, the Shield of Galakron, in order to get a 4th Invoke?
Oh, that's a good point. I had not considered that. He possibly could. I feel like it's probably going to die this turn, so he won't have that option. But if in the scenario where it doesn't, I can definitely see that happening.
Well, Shunsui, as you mentioned, is going to remove it.
Yeah, is going to just easily clear this off here. And yeah, no real good Wixie Laggy targets, so just going for the Demonic Lackey here.
Now, this is an interesting pick here. Waxadred isn't awful. Looks like what he's picking. I guess he could have maybe taken the Drake.
I think Twilight Drake would have been solid. Even the third pick, getting a couple 1-mana spells. I feel like Waxadred is just a little bit too slow to do too much at this position in the game, but of course Shunsui doesn't know Shoebacca's hand, that he already has Kronks and Galakron in it, so he is on a clock that he perhaps doesn't quite realize at this point in the game.
This is interesting. That's a dragon now. That could actually make a big minion for Shunsui if he does hold on to the Dragon Maw Poacher.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. We could see that, but I mean, Shoebacca is just gonna play Galakron on curve next turn, right? I mean, why not?
I would imagine so. I mean, there's no real reason not to. Especially considering you can claw down the Waxadred now if you really want to. But sure. I would wager he's probably going to do it and just ship the damage to face. Well,
yeah.
No,
well,
never mind.
Won't be able to do that anymore.
Titanic Lackey is a card.
5, 6, and let's see, and he won't burn anything. He'll go to exactly 10 cards if he plays the Galakron now, and then of course he'll certainly be able to play any of these 4 0-mana cards.
He's gonna burn one. Yep, the last card will be burned.
Oh, you're right. Yep, I miscounted.
ZILFS, you would have liked to see that.
You would have liked it, but Shoebacca is so far ahead, I don't think it matters at this point.
I think, yeah, you backstab the, and use the claw, rush in, get your damage in, and... No, what? No, what? Well, he doesn't necessarily value the minion staying alive, it would appear, and he's just going to go ahead and claw the face.
I think maybe Shoebacca was trying to take advantage of the rush there, which I can see, like, that 2 damage can't go face, whereas he can get a full 5 to the face this way. But I do think, I personally would have valued just having all of the minions on bit more.
Well, in fairness, it is lethal next turn with the Claw plus Leroy twice.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, that does set up exact lethal. So yeah, never mind.
So
Much better play.
perhaps the math works
Yeah.
out. Never mind, Shoebacca. We are sorry that we briefly doubted you because there he goes.
I
He's
did
covering those two
not.
cards.
The exact Leroy step lethal. Yeah, I was focusing so much on how much value he was getting from Galakron to increase his position in the game, but yeah, he is just going to get a quick win here and be off to a 2-0 lead against Shunsui. Wow.
And that is, yeah, a very quick 2-0 for Shoebacca. And Rogue, you know, we mentioned it, Rogue is one of those decks that it just doesn't have a whole lot of really hard counters to. If you're drawing well,
Wow.
you can really win any matchup with it. So we might just see, I mean, Hunter, in fairness, with the bans, Hunter is very much that way as well. So I don't have any problems with the decisions, of course, but we're going to see if the Rogue can go the distance here.
Yeah, this is going to be tough, and it really just depends on what this Warlock is. What are your thoughts, Donde, on this Rogue versus what we'll likely see from Shunsui's Warlock?
Well, let's take a look at the matchup chart that I'm going to pull up. I'm not putting it up on screen. Not that skilled on the fly, of course. But Warlock in general against Rogue, I mean, like I said, nothing is truly great against Rogue, but Zoo Warlock is okay, you know, in the 50-50 range against it for the most part, and same with Galakron Warlock. So either way, it's really about a 50-50, with Hand Warlock being slightly worse than that. So either Gala or Gala Zoo could be fine here.
Right. Well, I'm going to quickly beat you to the punch again and tell you Shunsui has gone for the Zoo and gone for the Gala Zoo, because we do see a Shield of Galakron, which he smartly mulligans away. And he's looking to have a pretty solid start here. Got the Flame Imp, Beaming Sidekick, and Evil Genius, but Shoebacca's hand is very strong as well. Pharaoh Cat leading into a 2-drop. And if he can just pick up a proc for that Evil Miscreant, he's in a very solid position.
Yeah, Shunsui definitely going to immediately throw down the Beaming Sidekick and make that Flame Imp tough to remove.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Flame Imp will probably go face next turn, but this Shotbot pickup from Shoebacca is pretty huge. Looks like he's gonna go for the Sap instead, which I guess I don't hate. I guess the only better target is Sea Giant, maybe a couple slightly bigger things, but interesting.
Let's see, what do we think happens here? Do we think, I think it's maybe Evil Genius?
I think it has to be. It doesn't feel great just replaying the Flame Imp. So we'll just go for the Evil Genius here. The 2-2 contests the 1-2 pretty well, and you'll get some nice options on board with the Lackeys.
Yeah, plus with the Grim Rally in hand too, that it's all the more options to buff. Especially if you can pick up something, you know, like the Faceless Lackey. Oh, no, Flame Imp.
Interesting, Flame Imp instead. I don't think it's super that he's dealing 3 to himself again. I think Shunsui expects to be ahead on the board, and if he's losing on the board, then he's not going to win the game anyways. But now I'm not really sure what his turn 3 is looking like, because I think he's going to have to end up playing the Evil Genius on one of these minions anyways.
Well, he does get the imp effectively to face, as Shoebacca uses the knife to clear it.
Yeah.
So he does get home, which, you know, at least if it hits once, then you're kind of okay with it. You'd much prefer the repeat damage, and I think getting a Grim Rally off on it would enable him to more consistently have it stay alive. But he's going to do what we thought might happen last turn and grab the Evil Genius this turn.
Right.
There's the Faceless Lackey. That's
Into
a good
the
draw.
Faceless Lackey, solid pickup.
And a 3-2.
Yeah, pretty average result.
Galakron draw for Shoebacca. Not helpful yet, but will be, as this is his first invoke now with the Devoted Maniac.
Yeah, and this is looking nice, and now Shoebacca can go play that Ethereal Lackey and get Miscreant Croc next turn, and chooses to take the value trade with the Devoted Maniac.
I like it.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, the zoo doesn't really have any good ways to play off the board. Really, the only way would be if Shunsui had the Lackey that deals 2 damage, but we can see he does not, so he's going to have to go ahead and just clear that with his own Devoted Maniac.
And luckily for Shunsui, he did have the Devoted Maniac of his own to get a little bit more board presence back, and continue to push the issue a little bit more. I think Shiv here for Shoebacca might be the pick, an easy clear. Assassin's a little too expensive.
Yeah, if he had any spell in hand, prep would be nice, but with nothing, it doesn't. I'm a little bit surprised to see this instead of just the Miscreant. Miscreant plus another Lackey probably would have put him more ahead on the board than he is now, but just clearing off the 3/2 is also fine, I suppose.
I think I like the Miscreant because you can possibly high roll the 2 damage Lackey, and then you end up with the same result with the board. But hey, you know, it's another line, it's another option. Of course, like I said, I agree with you. I think that would have been the slightly better play.
Right. Yeah, I mean, 2 damage Lackey, Rush Lackey would have been solid here, and it doesn't change his clock too much. He does have the Galakrond in hand. I get trying to prioritize that, but he doesn't have any more invokes, so I don't think he's going to get the Galakrond on curve like he did last turn. What a draw!
That is literally game saving. That because there's 9. You're staring down 9 damage.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's pretty much the best card you could have picked up at that point. And if you want to Galakrond next turn, the option's there.
Wow.
So Kronx is picked up for Shunsui, and he's trying to figure out where to go from here. Kronx, the Galakrond for Shunsui has 2 invokes so far, no other options in hand, but that also means those Veiled Worshippers are online, should he choose to draw. But, you know, it's a kind of slow turn, and it's something that can just be traded with that Flick that's already on board.
Man, I think he's got to go for the Kronx here. It's tough, but yeah, getting the extra, the extra stats, 6 can actually value trade with the 4, and maybe Shunsui can just hope that he high rolls with this Galakrond next turn, because he's losing the game at this point. He's losing control over the board. That Flick draw just did, I think, a little bit too much for Shunsui to stay on the board.
I think this is the optimal move here as well. Shiv,
I like
and then the trade. Yep, no problems here. And then you can go ahead and get the Lackey and the Miscreant down, and all of a sudden you got a board. Put a pretty low roll.
And this is fine too, going for Snip Snap, even seeing Shotbot and Witchy Lackey would have been fine too, because he can always play Miscreant next turn, but the 1/4 in stats is definitely worse than either the Shotbot or this Snip Snap here. So I like prioritizing getting onto the board against Zoo.
We're gonna see a big draw for Shunsui here. 3 cards, picks up a Voidwalker, which is immediately playable. So probably go ahead and dump hand a little bit here. Voidwalker, Blazing Battle Mage, and then the Witchy Lackey. But what do you hit with the Witchy Lackey?
There's no good hit at all. I mean, you don't like your average. He might just hold it because the average 5 drop, I'm pretty sure, is going to be worse than a 5/4 here.
Ooh, nope, he's going to rip it out there, and it's a 2/7. Not often seen Azurite Elemental.
Yeah, better than the 5/4 against this particular board, so it works out here. But that's tough. I still think I would have liked to see the Galakrond from Shunsui, and maybe you get Jiraxis, you get another solid minion, or another solid demon you can get back in the game, but it's going to be tough to come back here.
And that pickup there of the Praise Galakrond allowing him to just seamlessly play the fully invoked Galakrond on the same turn. This is brutal, because here comes Seal Fate, that's free. He picked up a backstab
for 0 mana.
Unbelievable.
Man.
That is a really, really heavy pickup there. Even with, do you want to Shadow Step one of the Faceless Corruptors and make another 4/4? Why not? Let's go.
Yeah, why not, right? Just extend the... it's closed list, so you don't know for sure, but you can be reasonably confident the Galakrond Zoo doesn't have any sort of board clear, and this is just going to be too much and going to be lethal for Shoebacca next turn.
Yeah, if Shunsui doesn't have an option, or if Shunsui doesn't come up with something here, which pretty much is going to be, hey, what does my Galakrond pull? for my two
Yeah.
random demons, it's pretty much over. He'll get that Blazing Battle Mage down too, but let's see. It's Galakrond or bust right now.
Yeah, let's see it. I mean, I don't know if there's anything that he can pull. I know he can pull some taunts. There's the 1/6 with taunt and lifesteal, but Shoebacca has sap in hand. He'll be able to clear it without Shunsui healing at all, and just has the easy lethal the other way.
Yeah, of course Shunsui can't know that. I mean he can pull two of them. Oh,
Yeah.
he's gonna shield the Galakrond, which again, same principle. The sap is a card.
Yeah,
and,
man.
Why not draw the Eviscerate for the extra damage?
Man, the overkill here.
And that will do it. A 3-game sweep for Shoebacca over Shunsui, and that is going to give THL the win. The THL, the team, not THL. The
oh man, we gotta not call them THL.
Yeah, that's why.
Okay.
That's why on the screen I have them as Teen HL, just for separation purposes.
I can get behind that for sure. I mean that's the one you have to do. You can't say T Hearth Legends. Just doesn't work the same way.
Absolutely. But yeah, as mentioned, that now makes it 12-2 for Teen Hearth Legends this week with a resounding win over ATL. Big match there for them this week to stay alive in the playoff hunt. And well, I shouldn't even say stay alive. They were already 4th, so they were already in position for playoffs. But this is going to give them that bigger separation between any teams that are trying to claw their way back in. So impressive play play by Shoebacca. I thought he played pretty flawlessly throughout that series.
Yeah, I think throughout the match we may have picked up a few minor or as is tradition, but other than that, very solid play. Shoebacca got some good draws, but he used those as well as he could and played well en route to a sweep.
Well, this is obviously this was a little bit quicker than we expected, as the second match is only slated for 10 o'clock. Both of our players are online. As we mentioned earlier, it's Anfal versus ItsMeMikeV in Series 2, I should say. So I'm going to let them know they can go ahead and get ready to ban because, they can go at this point. But while we're waiting, let's talk about this match here. So, since you spot checked me before, do you want to make sure I've got the right classes this time? I was pretty positive on this one.
So looks like we have Anfal on Hunter, Mage, Rogue, and Warrior against ItsMeMikeV on Hunter, Mage, Rogue, and Warlock.
That's correct. And
great.
As we talk, you got it. That's what I have too. So the mages, the magi, if you will. I've said that before, and people have corrected me.
The magi.
I like calling it.
I like it.
I like it either way. So those are typically the Highlander mage. Cyclone is a very, very fringe deck, and in Conquest, pretty much a bad decision at any given lineup that you could throw at the wall. So I would expect to see 2 Highlander mages there if they are in fact not banned.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised to see that. So both bans are not in according to the website, although I haven't refreshed it.
They won't be because it's not pro.
Right.
So yeah, they don't submit to the website. Board member, by the way.
By the way, now for the bans, I would not be too surprised to see another double Hunter ban, or maybe Rogue, but I think it's probably either Hunter or Rogue for either of these players. Once we know that.
I would think that looking at these lineups, you know what your opponent's mage is, essentially. In Conquest, there is the ability to target a lot more than there is in Last Year Standing. So I think if you do want to go ahead and try to play that game and say, I'm not going to let your mage through, you could have 3 decks that, other than your own mage, of course, that are all geared towards beating that Highlander mage. And that might be what informs your ban. So I'd have to look at the exact spreads to see, because I'm not 100% sure where you would go. But I would say, as we talked about, Rogue is always a threat. Hunter's always a threat. Those two do seem like probably pretty good bans, though you might just decide, I'm going to punt right now. I don't care if I lose one match as long as I win all 3 against Mage.
Yeah, definitely. And also based on this, so we only have, it's very close to a mirror. We have one class difference with Anfal on the warrior and ItsMeMikeV on the warlock. Just based on that, I know this is going to depend on what exactly they choose to ban, but just based on that, who would you give the edge based on these lineups?
I gotta say, I like. Before I say anything else, I'm biased as Anfal is my teammate. I do
Right.
like the warrior in general a little bit more than the warlock at the moment, so I would say the slight edge goes to Anfal. But you know, with like something like a Galakron Zoo warlock, anything can happen. You can just really roll hard and never look back. So I think it's very possible that either side wins this match, but I have to say I give the slight edge to the warrior in Anfal.
Definitely fair. And aside from these lineups, though, this looks like it'll be a very solid match. We've got both players at 2 and 3. Anfal with only a 6 PR edge. He's at 212 against Mike, who is at 206. So just based on record and PR, extremely evenly matched players. I am definitely hoping that this one goes to 5 games and we get a little bit more content than the quick sweep that we saw in our last match.
Big content, and
absolutely.
if you're looking for big content, I will yet again plug the VOD from last night because I went back and watched it because I'm obsessive and I have to. 2 hours and 40 minutes, by the way, for the 2 series. So if you want bang for your buck, and you can listen to the sweet dulcet tones of my Anodon casting alongside. Who the heck was he casting alongside last night? I can't remember.
No idea, to be honest.
No idea, to be honest.
No. But I'm not in charge of content, so
yeah, I should probably know this.
This one might be. No, you are playing. You can't be expected to know who's casting when you're trying to focus on the game.
Oh no, it was the Big Ted. I remember the Big Ted.
Right.
Sorry, Ted. I love you. The honorary hero commissioner. He was messaging me as well because he pointed out that the head of content didn't have a spectate on at the start of the match, which is big oof.
Ooh, but you know the rules. You were making sure that no one could spectate you and give you assistance during your match, which is
exactly. Yeah. It's really
board member, by the way.
Board member, by the way. It's tough. You ride that line between being a responsible player and being a responsible administrator. Oh man.
Yeah. And as we look, so currently, maybe in the past 5 minutes, we've gotten another match in. Hopefully we haven't, because it would just be Coles. And I assume, is Coles playing tonight?
He is not playing tonight. He's playing tomorrow night at 8:30. So I can say with great certainty that he will not affect this the score that you're seeing on screen, which by the way is GLA leading 9-6 right now. Thanks to
looking very nice.
Not as nice if you're on the other side like I am, but Jim Phillips got swept this afternoon by
by Shu racking up 2 sweeps on the week. Impressive.
Yeah. Turns out Shu's a pretty good player, so not surprised by that result in either series. But this is actually a very important matchup tonight here, since in order for ZILFS to stay alive into tomorrow, got to see a win from Anfal. It doesn't have to be anything more than a 3-2, because a 3-2 would bring this back to 10-11 in favor of GLA. But you still want to see this get to the 5th series. Coles can do some damage, so we're hoping that we get there.
Definitely. Cole's doing much better in Legacy than he has in Pro, so supporting the undefeated 5-0 record. But he's been turning around in Pro recently, so we'll see.
He dropped that 5 seed.
Yeah, I mean, that's what all we needed was Coles in the 5 seed. Who would have thought?
Seems like that's pretty overpowered. But then again, I guess if you look across the Pro Series, you'll find quite a few really strong players in the 5 or even the 4 seed on their respective teams. Just,
absolutely.
That's how Pro rolls. But
yeah, really, really no easy matchups. And it looks like our 2 players are getting ready to battle. Is that correct?
Anfal we have not heard from yet, but now he's preparing to battle a friend, according to my my friends list here, which is better than we were doing before. So it's I think the viewers will appreciate that we've been doing such a good job selling. They're not even caring about the match; they just want to hear us talk. Right? That's
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also nice to note that both Anfal and Mike are sitting at rank 5. So am I. Donde is the odd man out, had to
Try
one-up
hard.
us by being at rank 4 instead.
Try
I know,
hard.
come on, man. Just it's all that time that you have working from home. You're
Well,
not
okay, listen. First of all, I haven't started that yet. Literally, was my last day of work yesterday, so I don't even think
Oh,
you can,
wow,
yeah,
okay.
I don't even think you can really point that out yet. But yes, there will be significantly more free time on my hands. Well, I guess not free time. Don't tell my employer that, because they're expecting me to work from home. But I'll just be around a little bit more than I would otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll be nice. So, yeah, it looks like they're still preparing to battle. So we don't have the bans in. Yes. Just so looking here, it looks like Hot ZILFS and Good Luck Albatrosses are top 2 in their conference. But I'm wondering, how do buys affect that? Have ZILFS had their buy yet?
Yes, both teams have had their buys
okay.
So far. So these are true point values.
So true leaders in Legacy.
Yes,
is what we're looking at here.
And worth pointing out too, Toxic Reinforcements, which are the third place team, have also had their buy. So the top 3 teams are actually legitimately the top 3 teams in the Red Conference right now, point wise, and not with any sort of mirage as far as the buy is concerned. But that's why this game is so pivotal, because even if Good Luck Albatrosses doesn't pass ZILFS if they win, they can still get a lot closer and possibly allow Toxic Reinforcements to catch up too. So from what I have just heard from the players, it is a double Hunter ban.
Double Hunter again, no Hunter on stream.
Sorry for you fans of Rexar and or Sylvanas or Illyria. You will see none of them tonight, because they are super bans. So they're asking if we're good to go. If you want to let them know they're good to go, that's fine, because I am going to adjust the stream. Double Hunter Man has been entered, which you will now see on screen there.
And who will be on top and who will be on bottom?
Anfal will be on the bottom of your screen. It's me, Mike V, will be on the top.
Excellent. All right, they're so as they are getting ready to head into the first match, any thoughts? First initial cue from these two players?
I mean, Rogue seems like a pretty good bet, right?
Rogue worked out pretty well in our first match, right?
Wouldn't be shocked to see a Rogue mirror, to be honest.
Yeah, and honestly, that could it could just decide the series off the bat, just depending on who wins that mirror. Again, depends a lot on the archetypes, but like we talked about, like Rogue doesn't have a ton of really solid counters.
Well, we're gonna see Warrior, at least for Anfal, and then a Rogue for ItsMeMikeV.
There's Rogue, coming up with the double armor smith. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not super familiar with what warrior archetype runs double armor smith. Is that being run in Galakrond warrior these days?
Yeah, I mean, at least one armor smith is pretty common in Galakrond at this point, especially with the risky skipper. That is the new card, the new 1-drop from the Galakrond's Awakening solo content. Does 1 damage to all minions when you play. I believe it's when you play another minion off the top of my head. So yeah, a lot of synergy there, especially and with the Bomb Wrangler that you see as well. You know, since it takes damage and creates a boom bot, so you can get pretty chaotic pretty fast. And it does appear to be a Galakrond warrior here with the Devoted Maniac drop.
Yeah, has been interesting to see how Galakrond has evolved with these new adventure cards. Risky Skipper making it in, Bomb Wrangler making it in, and that definitely changed. Yeah, and that changes the makeup of the deck. I know some people are cutting Battle Rage now from the deck, which definitely a topic of heated debate.
That was a Twitter fiasco, wasn't it?
Yeah. But getting back into the match, Anfal looking to have a pretty solid curve here. He can just play the Armor Smith and can go nicely into what I'm sure he'll choose to play the Frothing over the Wrangler, although both are solid plays on 3 for sure.
Yeah, I think Armor Smith, it looks like almost like as if he was debating armoring up versus the Armor Smith. I definitely think playing the Armor Smith and getting stuff on board is right. Frothing Berserker is an interesting pick for the deck, as it's not one that is always in the Galakrond Warrior, but it does synergize, as you mentioned, with the Risky Skipper, another option. Another viable option, a card that's been around basically since the start of Hearthstone as a viable card for Warrior.
Right, and it is interesting because frothing has pretty much always been, it doesn't get played in Control Warrior, but in basically any other aggressive or tempo mid-range based warrior, it gets a spot in the deck, but it hasn't been in Galakrond Warrior. And I still, like you said, I don't think it's standard, but it's definitely seeing its place in some of these lists, and I can see why. It's a solid card. Get even just one proc on it, and it immediately demands removal.
And Bloodsword Mercenary, if you can pull that off on a humongous Frothing Berserker too, is pretty scary. I know it doesn't have any sort of charge, but it's still a big boy if you can get it down.
Yeah.
Even a Frothing Berserker that's gotten like 3 or 4 procs, but we're gonna see one that's 4/4 right out of the gate here.
This is crazy.
I'm sorry, 6/4 rather.
Yeah, no, 6/4, right. Just playing the Pharaoh Cat, which I mean really was kind of only the play that made sense for Mike, but already getting the 6/4 down. Mike might have to. He doesn't really have a great way to deal with this other than sap. He can't proc a Vis very well outside of just blowing the coins. So he's certainly in a tough spot here.
One thing I will say, he obviously has sap, so if he wants to abate the immediate damage, he can go ahead and get rid of the Berserker right away. But he can go ahead and coin Eviscerate if he would rather do that. The other thing I would say is that I don't know if we noticed this off the Reborn draw, but Winged Guardian is a pretty reasonable pickup for the Rogue, as Galakrond Warriors don't run any sort of execute or direct hard removal. So he's going to have to chunk his damage into that in order to eventually get back to dealing face damage. It's a pretty big boy.
Absolutely. I can definitely see that come down the road. Mike choosing to go for the Coin of Vis into hero power. I'll admit I would have liked to see the sap instead, I think. I don't think Galakrond Warrior ends up running a bunch of really good sap targets. And if you just sap that, maybe Anfal replays it, and then you can go Coin of Vis Edwin next turn. But Mike's hand looking a lot weaker without that coin, so I do think sap might have been the better option there.
Now, Anfal, in order to obviously maximize use of mana, he's probably going to want to throw the Devoted Maniac down. That'll be his first Galakrond invoke. Really, Bloodsworn Mercenary, not the best target in the Armorsmith for it. He's got another Armorsmith in hand if you really want to go that route, but it was either that or like play the Bomb Wrangler and float a mana. But I like maximum use of the mana there.
Yep, yeah, I like this, especially with the Acolyte in hand. There's a decent chance Anfal some draw going soon. Just play your card on curve, hit your opponent for 3. It's fine, and he can play the Armorsmith along with the 3 next turn, fill out his curve pretty nicely.
So backstab, clean removal of the 2/2 Seal Fate. Rare that you can get the Seal Fate off on the 4th turn to face and still have it be a possibility. Pulls up the Rush Lackey. Not going to be useful this turn. He'll hold on to that. And Galakrond draw for Anfal. That's what you want to see if you are playing the Galakrond Warrior.
Yeah, I think Mike could have just gone for the Edwin, get that 4/4 on board rather than the Seal of Fate, which could come in handy as removal down the line. And it's likely that Anfal will stay undamaged for a while if he does just want to hit that face. Because now he finds himself falling sort of behind on board. He's really going to have to rely on that Winged Guardian, I think, to catch him up and put him back into this game.
And Anfal opts not to play the Armorsmith as well, which I think is interesting there. He'd rather armor up. I think you get the Armorsmith down and just get as much stuff on board as possible.
That's what I'm thinking. You're in a position where your opponents had some pretty weak turns. The coin of this into dagger was awkward. The backstab Seal Fate your face wasn't particularly strong. So really just putting minions on board, it's okay if you don't get a lot of value. You don't really need armor at this stage in the game, but just getting that 1/4 as a body on board where you can get some chip damage in, I think would have done a lot.
And I like this play from Mike. He's going to go ahead and clear a minion, and then he's going to go ahead and play a bigger Edwin Van Cleef, which is strong.
Yeah, this is pretty sweet. I'll be honest, I did not see the play initially looking at Mike's hand, but this works out very, very nicely for him.
And now the downside here is that he no longer has a lackey to activate Togwaggle next turn, provided, of course, that Anfal clears the 1/1, which he has a plethora of options to do so right now, including, I would say, like, Armor Smith comes down here and then you awaken. Well, you know what you could probably do first is you probably put the Bomb Wrangler into the 1/1. Oh, you know what? I like the Acolyte better. That's a good decision. And then that way you trigger the Boom Bot as well and get a second Boom Bot.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, still, play the Acolyte first, but still make that trade first, and then to the Weekend. Solid ordering here, I think.
Yep, that's absolutely the correct ordering.
Yep, and Anfal, I guess, does have a slight chance to actually... Okay, he would have had to roll exactly to take it out, but this is still fine.
Yep, you're going to go ahead and send that 3 to the face, because you might as well ship it somewhere, and you're not going to throw yourself damage for no reason.
Yeah.
So
that's solid pickup with the praise there.
Because now he can go ahead and praise and has the lackey for next turn for Togwaggle. Yeah, I like that a lot. Boom Pistol Bully, for those who don't know, the 5-mana Battlecry enemy cards cost 5 more next turn. I mean, Battlecry cards, which means that he could effectively lock Galakrond out for at least 1 more turn if that's what Anfal chooses to do. You know, we have Caster Vision, we know the Galakrond is there, but turn 7 is a pivotal turn for any Galakrond deck.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, just looking at the rest of Anfal, if this bully doesn't come down, I think he could find himself going for it. But yeah, just play it. Even if you don't get, hit anything in your opponent's hand with it, it's just a 5-mana 5/5, and Mike will definitely want to save this Ethereal Lackey for next turn. And he decides to go with the sap instead.
Pretty low value sap target, but I mean, I guess I can understand. Oh, big 4 damage to face.
Wow. And we did talk at the start of the game that this Galakrond Warrior doesn't have great sap targets, which is why using it on the Frothing was a possibility earlier. So I guess I can see that reasoning. It doesn't get much better except for this Shield of Galakrond. Probably sapping a 4/5 with Taunt is going to be as best as it gets. But yeah, still a little bit low value. Just hit that 2/1.
I think I still like just playing Galakrond there. I know you don't get the weapon, but you do get the hero power, which will allow you to continuously push face damage going forward.
I would have liked... Yeah, I think Anfal is probably just holding out. He sees how close he is to winning the game and is thinking, if I can just get 1 more Galakrond proc, I get that 3 damage to face, and then I'll get the weapon, which will seal out the game for me. So I can definitely see it. I think he's going to get punished slightly here, but you don't really play around your rogue opponent having Guardian.
Oh, of course not. And he does pick up the Awakens, so he has an option here. And now I think the question becomes, what's the best way to get the most bang for your buck here? And I think you want to play the Bomb Wrangler again. I think that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Probably the Armor Smith as well, and then you go ahead and Awaken, and draw a card as well.
Definitely, and this is, I mean, we saw earlier. Just armor up rather than playing the Armor Smith, and I think this is the payoff that he was looking for, just being able to use the Awaken. He's going to get 3 armor here, yeah, and then the Armor Smith will still be on board for maybe another armor with this Acolyte, a couple more on board, so he ends up getting some value here.
So now the Leroy is a big pull because you can go ahead and just slam that into the 6/6, clear it off, and push forward, but part of him probably wanted to draw it with the Galakrond. I don't know if it necessarily matters so much with the 6/6 taunt in the way with Reborn, but I think this is really pivotal turn here now for Anfal.
Yeah.
I think the draw is going to be very important for him.
This has been such an interesting game, honestly, because Mike looked so far behind, but now he's just going to play this bully and push for lethal, and honestly, we could see Boombots play a huge role, maybe even determine the course of this game.
Yeah, this is big here. What do you do? So half his hand is unplayable or extremely expensive, and then the rest of his hand, I think you put down the Risky Skipper and then the Bomb Wrangler, and just let it fly.
That's got to be it. I mean, Anfal just I think is locked out of the game at this point, right? Or can he gain enough armor with Armor Smith?
I think you send in the 2/2 here to the 6/5. No, I think you want to send the 2/2 in before you played the second bomb wrangler, so that way one of the other bombs procced. I think that cost him the game. I mean, it wasn't necessarily guaranteed, but it could have been. And then we see Leroy in hand, so ultimately we know that there was enough damage there, but...
Yeah, so no matter... I think from Anfal's perspective, he was okay, but yeah, this Leroy is going to mean that Mike takes game 1.
Yep.
Wow.
Absolutely. Wait. When he plays Leroy, Risky Skipper hits.
No. Does it?
Yeah.
It's after you play a minion.
Play a minion. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah.
I got excited for the RNG possibilities, and I was incorrect.
Oh no! I mean, we've definitely seen our share of RNG with Leroy. I think veterans of THL may remember where Ridiculous Hat on stream had his opponent play Leroy, but then had his knife juggler take it out with 2 very well placed knives.
I do recall.
But yeah, no chance of that happening. So yeah, Mike taking game 1, really just a super interesting game. I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever seen a Galakrond Rogue against Galakrond Warrior game go exactly like that. Part of it was the Edwin, and then part of it was also just that Winged Guardian. Just did so much work, Mike, that game.
Yeah, the Winged Guardian was a very key pickup, because I think without that, Anfal had the juice to get through, and he no longer had that as an option, because he can never utilize his own face to clear it without putting himself into lethal range, and over from there. So we're going to see if it can get the job done against what appears to be a hand Warlock. We see Sack Packs in there, Plague of Flames, and the Bad Luck Albatross. Not the Good Luck Albatross, the Bad Luck.
Yeah, the Bad Luck. Yeah, that. So I guess we'll see. Looking off to another solid start yet again. Got some early drops, and 1 Galakrond proc in the Ritual Chopper. So looking pretty good for him so far.
Yep, he's going to want to go ahead and push the issue as quick as he can. Well, you want to make the Warlock really think about whether or not they can afford to tap, and that's what the Ritual Chopper is going to do here in the early game, because now if Mike taps this turn, he's down 21 health, which is pretty low.
Yeah. And I like just choosing to play this 4-3 instead. The Albatrosses, I think it's unlikely they'll play a huge role in this game. Anfal's going to be looking to end the game pretty quickly. But just getting this 4-3 out does a lot for Mike to be able to contest the board.
And he pulls the Devoted Maniac as his rush from the Town Crier. So I think coin into Bomb Wrangler here is probably the way I would go. No, he's going to go ahead and hero power. I think getting more on board is better, since if you coin this turn, you've got the 4 to 5 for the Devoted Maniac Shield to Galakrond the next 2 turns.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. When in doubt, just put stats on the board, play for tempo. Like you said, that would have been a very solid curve. But now we see very nice Maniac here, and Mike has a pretty solid lead on the board, especially for this Control Warlock against Galakrond Warrior deck. And it's going to be hard for Anfal to fight through and try to get some minions back.
I gotta say, I'm disappointed in you, because you had when in doubt, coin it out, just on the table for you there, and you bypassed it, and
that's
I'm a little
true.
upset.
Wow.
That's why we gotta get you casting
I don't
more,
blame
my
you.
friend. We gotta get you casting more.
Yeah, Anfal does pick up a nice clear here. We'll have the full clear and get some stuff back on the board, including a boom bot. So looking to be in a more solid position now.
That is a pretty big pickup though for Mike with the Nether Wing there, the 5 mana to blow everything up for 3 damage, basically Hellfire on a stick.
Yeah,
that's what he's gonna
wow.
play. Boom bot hits home for 3 damage on the Nether Wing, so that's not terrible. And now the Devoted Maniac trades very nicely into that.
That's a solid one, yeah. And so Anfal could choose to just get the Shield of Galakrond out instead and face this 5 and have the 4/5 with Taunt instead. In fact, kind of might prefer him to go that route just because you don't get very much on board just with the Maniac.
Well, you could Maniac into the Risky Skipper after that, which I think is what he's looking to do here. So that way you have the Risky Skipper out there. It is a little bit more, board presence, not a ton, but it's something. One thing I will say, looking at Mike's hand, well, that's a good pickup there. The Rain, or Dark Sky, I almost called it Rain of Fire. Dark Skies, that's a good control card for this matchup here. And he's going to also pick up Shield of Galakrond off the tap, with Fiendish Rites being the option. That's really the only other remaining choice he has here for the rest of this turn now.
Yeah, Mike, he getting a little bit low with all this tapping, but definitely what he has to do to win the game. And honestly, just pretty contested position for both players here.
This is good though. Risky Skipper.
This is nice.
That plays into that Risky Skipper real well. Oh, if only he had the Frothing Berserker down.
The Frothing, but
I mean, he could coin it.
You still point it out. I think you do. Yeah, I mean, Anfal's running out of, but he has Leroy. He really needs to push to end the game as soon as possible.
Yeah, I
getting that
like
Frothing
it.
on board.
It's not a slow move, and I don't think you need to be playing slow right now. You've got him at 14. The problem, of course, will be that he doesn't know that Dark Skies is in hand, and that will hit for 7 next turn. But nope, he's gonna go ahead and play the slow. Play the slow game.
Maybe playing around the Dark Skies. But even still, it just feels so bad to give up your board presence here.
And I guess Dark Skies still works out kind of in Anfal's favor because it clears a low value board, gives him a card draw, and gives him 4 armor. So you're not torn up about it if that's the route that Mike V decides to take. He doesn't know, obviously, he doesn't know that Dark Skies in hand, but is a very common card in this type of Warlock.
Yeah, exactly. And Mike, choosing to Galakrond instead, which does make sense.
Inner Rage plus Leroy is halfway to the combo, or 2/3 of the way to the combo, I should say, if he can pull up a Bloodstorm Mercenary. Second Frothing.
Another Frothing.
Would have been better to play that first Frothing down there and at least start juicing it, but Shield of Galakrond is probably going to be the option now, I would imagine.
I would like the Shield of Galakrond coin Frothing, but I guess Anfal now with the hits is committed to not doing that. But if know what? If he had done that, it would have triggered the Risky Skipper and killed the entire board anyway. Oh, okay. Good point. Yeah. Okay, so he's doing it this way instead. Yeah, smart.
He's gonna coin into the shield, and that's gonna. Yes, this is actually that's a very good play. That puts a lot of stuff on board, and we're gonna have to see a Plague of Flames here from Mike, or he's gonna have to hope that the Rain of Fire hits well enough. But he just picked up.
The Nether Breath.
The Nether Breath, and he has the dragon.
Incredible. That is exactly what Mike needed. And the Galakrond coming in hand, yeah.
He is one shy of the Galakrond. One shy of the Galakrond being fully activated, and I think that 8 damage is enough now to clear the entire board. I think they had 8 collective health.
Yes, this should be an exact clear, so he can hold on to the Nether Breath.
Bloodsworn Mercenary is a lethal draw, however, for Anfal, and Myanodon, he called that a couple draws last night exactly. So I am going to try and see if I have that. If I have that, crystal ball power that he had. So we'll see if maybe a 2 and 17 is in the cards. No pun intended for Anfal.
Wow. Yeah. We'll see.
Kidding. The pun was absolutely intended.
And if Anfal doesn't get that here, he might have trouble closing this game out. Looking. Oh, Nether Breath. I don't see Nether Breath hit face that often, but interesting. Yeah.
I understand the desire there. You're trying to take as much, if he has the combo in hand, but the combo is with the Kor'kron Elite, that does take you out of death range because that would have been a 12 damage combo. So I don't necessarily dislike that, and he's got Galakrond to play next turn as well if he gets into massive trouble.
Yeah. I mean, the concern there is just, does it matter for Breakpoint? It doesn't for the Leroy combo, but if it does for the Corcoran, I can definitely see the reasoning there.
And the information here for Mike now, he knows there's no possible way that Anfal has the combo, quote unquote, in hand, because he only has 2 cards.
Yep.
So what he cannot know is that 2 of those 2 cards are 2 of the 3 cards in the combo. And Dragonblight Cultist will come down, so that way Mike will not be able to play the Galakrond this turn. He will have it fully invoked for next turn, however.
Yep, and it sets up the Plague of Flames very nicely, and he will deny any card draw from the Acolyte, because this doesn't deal damage to the Acolyte, it just destroys it, and that is crushing for Anfal, or it would be if he didn't just pick up the Kronks. Wow.
It's gotta be Kronks here. You gotta play him, and then you gotta hope. Well, he will be hoping when he sees the Galakrond get played that there are no taunt minions.
Fully upgraded Galakrond. Wow. Yeah, that was exactly what I
don't think the draw particularly matters for Mike. It's Galakrond time.
Yeah, throw it on the board.
He might Dark Skies first. You might Dark Skies first just to clear the 6/6 and then Galakrond.
Would it?
It would be exactly.
Oh yeah, it'll be
exactly enough to clear it. Yep.
Yeah. Then definitely want to go for that first. Then into the Galakrond.
And I mean, the good news is here for Anfal, the Galakrond obviously drawing 4 minions. The odds of it drawing a combo minion is pretty strong. So it's not a terrible position, and that is not the worst things I've seen, but it's certainly not the strongest.
I would say that's pretty average, right? I mean, the 5/6s are very solid, but the Witchwood and Blood Imp about some of the worst you can get. But overall, I think, you're pretty happy to see that. The 2 5/6s will do a lot of work and will be difficult for Anfal to remove.
Scion of Ruin, those are big boys. Devoted Maniac, Armorsmith, and Town Crier. None
picking
of those
up
are Bloodsworn Mercenary.
Damn. True, but picking up the Town Crier and the Armor, very important to when you're playing Warrior. If you can get something that you can play on the turn that you play Galakrond, that's huge. And Anfal can get a 5/6 and a 5/8 down this turn. That's going to go a long way.
Yeah, I think you have to. I think you put those three out there. No, he's gonna just prioritize getting damage right now and saying, you know what, you didn't get taunts. I've got Leroy, and that's 6 damage plus another 2. So he's got 13 in hand, combined with the claw. So I don't hate it. Are we gonna see an 8/8 taunt here come down for Kronks? Because that's probably the best option.
It might be. Well, if it is
lethal, however.
It would be lethal because of the Leroy Inner Rage. And also the Scion of Ruin. There's many
Scions,
many different ways for Anfal to deal with that. But Mike might feel like that's his best shot here.
Yeah, Mike knows he's got to get rid of the 5/6. There's no option here because it's just facing down lethal right now. He's got, he's got the minions to do it, but yeah, like he knows that he doesn't have the option for Zephyrus right now. It's not active. Alex to face himself would be potentially his undoing. And if he's hand trapped, he's seen that card that's sitting in Anfal's hand. It's been there a long time on the far left.
Yeah, 2 cards, and I mean, Anfal's had, I don't think Anfal's floated a ton of mana, but yeah, it's pretty likely you can make the read. This is going to be, at least one of these cards is Leroy. And going for the Kronks with the taunt, but this is going to be game. Anfal's going to even the series at 1-1 and get the win with his Warrior.
And in comes the bad news as we see the Giant Scion of Ruin. That is going to clear that
Insane.
taunt. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, never mind. It doesn't
no,
matter.
it's
Leroy. You just okay. Sorry, I got overwhelmed by the swath of options that he had.
There were a lot of ways to kill his opponent there.
I will admit I was very tunneled on the one way that I liked best, which was the Leroy.
Yeah.
So I apologize that that was the teammate in me having a moment.
Casting your teammates is always an experience. It's Definitely, I think one of my least favorite times casting was having to cast my teammate losing in the playoffs. I think it was either a semis or a finals match, but yeah, it's not great. But Anfal was able to fall there.
Yeah, I tend to avoid it whenever possible, just because
Yeah.
I don't like to have any air of conflict of interest. But I hope by now that everyone would realize that I try to not be unprofessional when it comes to that. But I did have a bit of a moment there.
No, definitely.
A little bit of a stroke.
Yeah. Yeah, so now at 1-1, Anfal got the win with his warrior. He'll go with either his mage or rogue here, and I guess it doesn't matter a ton exactly which one he queues.
Well, you know what your opponent has in that warlock, so that might inform the decision a little bit. And he's gonna bring rogue. Anfal will bring rogue, and Mike is gonna go ahead and transition over to mage, and it does look like the Highlander mage, which is not surprising. And there's Reno, the third different copy of him we've received in this game.
Yeah, we'll see if the game can even get to that point, but if that happens and Mike ends up drawing the Reno, yeah, we'll see what happens here. But Anfal, no one drop that we see in hand now, but the Miscreant and the Seal of Fate, pretty solid.
Yeah, he went full mulligan there because his hand was pretty heavy, but didn't really get much better. He'll want something like Seal of Fate into a Lackey to use Miscreant on turn 4 is probably his best bet right now. So he'll dagger up and not hit face, I would imagine, to allow him to use the Seal of Fate next turn.
Yep, definitely. And
Seal Fate,
we'll see if Mike makes a read to ping his face to deny that Seal of Fate, which, looking at his hand, that's actually a valid play.
I've seen people do it. It's pretty heads up.
It's weird. I mean, there's nothing to ping on his opponent's side. I mean, what else does the rogue do on 3 not on the besides Seal Fate? He can
Seal Fate his own face, I guess, if he really wants to.
Oh, okay.
No.
Going and I mean, just we have the benefit of looking at but in this case, pinging his own face was actually the right play.
Oddly enough.
Yeah. So yeah, Anfal getting the Seal off, that is going to give him the Lackey that he needs to proc Miscreant next turn, and I am not going to be surprised to just see this Witchy come out just as a 1/1, just so we can get that Miscreant proc.
It is unfortunate, however, that it is the Witchy Lackey, because that is the lowest value with nothing on board that you can possibly see.
Yes.
I know this all too well. But yes, it's going to probably come down regardless.
Yeah, and Mike choosing to coin out the Bone Wraith, he doesn't really have great follow-up. It is likely that it sticks and he can go for the Conjurer's Calling, I guess, which can give him some early board presence, but other than that, his hand is pretty heavy. But yeah, he feels confident that the 2/5 will stick, and he'll get rewarded here.
Arcane Breath now active, and going to hit the 1/4. Give him a couple options. Ooh, Lunas. He doesn't have Lunas in hand yet. Obviously, it is a redundant card in this deck, but having it in your hand is better than not having it in your hand when you have a chance to play it on 7. I think that might be the pick. Oh, he's going to go cold.
Lunas? But he already has the Lunas.
Oh, he had it in hand. It was hiding behind the other cards. I apologize. Never mind.
Wow.
Please feel free to ignore me at any given point.
so it makes sense to just pick the Cone of Cold here. It can be some solid stall later. And Anfal still, he could Abyss this, and I think he'll choose to. It just means he won't be able to play the Miscreant this turn.
No, he can play the Miscreant if he Goblin Lackeys the 2/2. No, he can't. That's not going to work. Never mind. Again, ignore me.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a full clear. I usually like when you're dealing with minions, if you're gonna kill it, make sure you have a way to finish off that last 1 health, because if not, you're kind of just giving your opponent like another free attack. It's not going to be too bad here. It's just a 2/1, but Mike could choose to punish him with the Conjurer's Calling.
Cone of Cold looks like the play.
I kind of would have liked to see the Conj, honestly. I don't think it gets better, right? Because against Rogue, you just want to be contesting the board early as the Mage. You'll all game, but just being able to get 2 4-drops.
I would say so, because I mean, the other option is that you're hoping that you can get the get it off on the Mountain Giant, of course. But there's no guarantee that you're even going to get that far in the game. He doesn't have it in hand right now, so there's no option in regards to the immediate future.
Exactly. Yeah, but going for the Cone of Cold instead, Anfal be able to clear it pretty easily. I like going for the prep here. He's not going to use it this turn, but just yeah, that's going to be an easy, make a sap. This 0 mana.
Now, Draconic Lackey or Witchy Lackey on the 2/2, or even on the 1/3.
Yeah, both are solid. I think I might have liked to see it on the 2/2 instead. The 1/3 and the 2/2 are pretty similar, but you'd rather have the random 5-drop than 4-drop, right?
I think so. I think that.
Yeah.
I think the average increase would have been higher from 4 to 5 than 3 to 4.
Yeah. I agree.
I say that with no actual statistical backing.
I also have no statistical backing, but well, after we'll check it and realize that we were right.
I hope. Or chat will let us know how wrong we were, which is entirely possible too. Could this be a Zephyrs and Mana Saber turn?
Yeah, it makes sense. So if he goes for the Zeph, I'm thinking what he would be looking for. Shadow Word is not in standard. So I'm thinking if there's a way for him to full. I don't think there is, off the top of my head. So maybe he'll play the Mana Saber first and Zephyrs, hoping.
He's either Mana Saber ping, but nope, he's gonna try to see what he gets. Swipe. Mind control
it comes close. Comes close to a full clear. It's definitely a solid. Just leaving the 2/1 on board.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. And you're probably gonna go ahead and trade that 2/1, I'd imagine. Well, you can Seal Fate.
Ooh, nope. Seal of Fate, nice pickup. Pretty badly needed for Anfal thing. I think I like going for the Seal of Fate because it actually lets him get a Lackey on board, because Anfal kind of desperately needs value.
Big Lackey pickup too. The Witchy Lackey can go ahead and hit what he didn't hit last turn. And 4/4 upgrade. That's good.
Okay, yeah. It's something. This Demonic Lackey Anfal something. Interesting pickups here. Does he ever go for the Nozdormu?
It's definitely not Crowd Roaster because there's no other dragons in
yeah.
So, yeah, the Nozdormu for the trolling capabilities possibly. Maybe make your opponent misplay. Evasive Worm, probably on the whole a better decision though.
This is, yeah. No, it's true. It'll have more of an immediate effect, but yeah.
Ooh, the Flick pickup, you like to see that, especially if,
wow.
Going into turn 8 here, a Power of Creation, Flick will just take out an entire board, so that's good. Probably want to see maybe Evasive into, do you think you start throwing damage at face with Eviscerate? Knowing that you've got the Leroy and Eviscerate in hand, you possibly could end this in 2 turns.
That's, I might want to onto it, just because I think if you do it, you're going to play everything at once, especially with the prep in hand. I might want to save that just for a surprise lethal. I think he can just hit face and re-dagger, but he's definitely getting very close. Let's see, he can hit face for 7 this turn, has 14 in hand. So yeah, just playing the evasive here, it sets up lethal.
And the evasive does not die to the Flame Strike in hand, which is a really nice added feature. And you know what? He says, whatever, I'm just going to go ahead and do now.
Okay. Yeah.
Here's an interesting thought. Because he's got the Eviscerates in hand, the Leroy he knows gets home this turn. The Eviscerates can go over any taunts that come out from here on out. That's not the worst decision.
If he didn't have the sap in hand, I would see that a lot more. Yeah, I guess get your damage in when you can. I still think evasive would here. But yeah, just going for the Leroy, and now Anfal is going to have to figure out how he's going to pick up that extra damage, only having the 4 in hand with double of this, and with the Leroy gone, outside of Lackeys, it might be a little bit difficult for him to pick up the damage needed to close out the game.
He's going to use the Evasive Worm to get rid of the Leroy, or get rid of the Reno, I should say, and now, unbeknownst to Mike V, that is yet again a... not representing lethal on board, but he's got lethal in hand.
Yeah. The Kartut Defender. Significant pickup. Anfal does have the sap, but Mike can actually go for 2 taunt minions this turn. I guess he doesn't have to, though, if he can just do this.
Now you don't want to kill it, obviously, if you flick it.
No.
I mean, you flick it one time, gets no, it still leaves the 3/1 on board. Because I don't think the flick kills the reborn version right away. So I think if you're gonna hit anything, you gotta sap it, but you don't want to sap it now, because then he'll just play it again next turn, and then where do you go from there?
This is a tough spot. Not gonna lie, he doesn't even have another faceless corruptor, which would be pretty solid. He's just going for the flick here, and maybe he'll choose to save. Okay, I was thinking he could have saved the sap, and maybe the Cartoot doesn't die, and then you can sap it next turn for a possible lethal, but he'll just choose to sap it now, but it's just going to get replayed, and I think Mike's always getting this 6 heal, right?
Unless sap is the next draw.
Yeah, I guess the second sap could potentially do it. Alex, pretty significant pickup here. I mean, just for 1 mana, being able to heal back to 15 and replay the Cartoot seems pretty solid to me.
Yeah, I would say that, or I mean, I guess like the big mistake he could make is playing Calicos into a Power of Creation and then not picking up any sort of taunt, which he's mousing it.
Looks like he's thinking about it. Yeah, I mean,
it's a dangerous play.
Ooh.
He also Conjurer's Calling.
Okay, yeah, I'm not, because there was the Alex Cartoot. There's also just the Amazing Reno, which would have taken the 4/4 off the board and prevented lethal. But Mike is.
No.
Oh my God! What?
What's better than 1 Cartoot? Why not have 2 of them?
No.
And that flick
my God.
is just there's nothing it can do. Oh my goodness, that is absolutely the worst thing that he could have seen. That was an instant pick too from that list.
Incredible. I didn't get to see the options at all. I didn't even see that Cartoot was one of the options that was already on board.
You didn't need to see anything else. You didn't need to see anything else.
Oh man, Mike. Yeah, why not? Why play the Cartoot from hand, where you can just get 2 of them off the Power of Creation? You said it. And that's going to be the game right there. Anfal can't come back from this.
I mean, he can clear off all 4 Cartoots effectively, but that's 12 healing.
He can, and he's Galakron Rogue. He can get some Galakron down the line, maybe. Mike is going to be at a very healthy life total, has a ton of value in hand, has a 1 mana Albatrosses in hand. I don't see Anfal taking
Let's
this
go
one
full
back.
Edwin here, though. Might as well.
Why not?
Man.
Why
Prep
not?
the Eviscerates. Let's go. Make the Edwin bigger, dude.
Oh, only the 6. Yeah, we could have.
It could have been a 12/12. Oh yeah, because you prep the Eviscerate for free, and then Eviscerate again. Then you still have 3 mana left over. It would have been a full 12/12, which would have just been.
Kind of would have liked to see that.
It would have been Conjurer's Calling anyway into 2/3 drops.
True.
So.
Yeah.
The rare defensive or the rare offensive Conjurer's Calling, I should say.
For sure. And yeah, just play 0 mana Flame Strike, and now Mike has a variety of. Play 1 mana 8/8. You could play a 1 mana 5/5. Play some other minions. We'll see.
Yeah, at this point, the world is his oyster. He's going to play the Tortollan. I would imagine Frost Nova is the pick here. I mean, he could book a Spectres and try to just draw all his big stuff, which he's going to do that. Oh boy.
Some solid pickups there.
Doctor,
for sure.
Snap.
Yeah. I mean, 3 minions is what you want to see. I mean, like you said, Mike just has so many options here. Sure.
Yogg box, please.
Puzzle box, of course. All right. I hope we get to see that. We probably won't, but maybe Mike will show off to the stream a little bit, because he definitely already has this one locked up.
He missed a ping there, but I'm not too convinced that it's an issue. And Mana Saber is not a card that says you win now when you play me, so I think that effectively ends the game, and Anfal will drop down well, Mike will take the lead 2-1, I should say, and Anfal will have to get the reverse sweep to keep, or the reverse partial sweep to keep the dream alive.
Reverse partial
for hot seals.
Yeah. I mean, definitely doable, but like we said, it's gonna be the last turn for Anfal in this game. But Definitely, I can see him doing it with this rogue against the warlock, and then most probably with his Highlander mage. But I actually, would you say that both the rogue and the mage are at least slightly favored against Mike's control warlock?
I would say I have to look at the numbers, which I'm going to do.
Great.
I don't like to speculate. I like to exactly prognosticate.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice word usage too.
Thank
you.
So mage against the Galakron warlock is favored, and rogue is about 50-50.
Oh, okay, interesting. So Mike actually didn't have lethal. For some reason, I thought he did. He just has a very large lead. Taking his time on which of his 1-mana minions to play. It's gonna get a lot of value out of this cog here. Oh, Hyreek. Wow.
You know what? I think if I was Mike, I would just ping Hyreek out of shame.
I would. I mean, he missed a ping last turn, so he could use it this turn. On the okay, he didn't ping Hyreek. I'm mildly disappointed.
I mean, why not have some fun? This game is pretty much over.
All right. If Anfal doesn't sap Hyreek, I am once again going to be disappointed.
Aww.
Okay.
Well, disappointment.
Well, at least
disappointment is your middle name right now, I guess.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Hopefully this next match, we'll see some better plays. I mean, come on.
If you're gonna lose, you gotta lose the style.
Yeah,
I guess.
I like this.
I guess if you're hitting the Boom Reaver, yep, that's gonna do it.
Yeah. So yeah, 2-1 lead. Just Mike. So if we're looking at about a 50-50 for the Rogue Warlock and a favorable for the Mage against Warlock, overall across 2 matches, we would expect Mike to win. But anything can happen here.
Yeah, the Mage is probably the easy pick for Anfal here, knowing what we know. I'm sure he's seen the chart.
I would expect to see it.
I would expect to see the Mage here into the Warlock.
And we do, in fact, see the Mage.
Your soul shall be mine.
You asked for it.
Mike pulling the Book of Specters. I'm sorry, Mike. Anfal pulling the Book of Specters right away. Not ideal. You'd really prefer to have that post Lunas if you can.
Yeah.
Gonna hold on to the Reno.
Yeah, solid keep. Prevent any situations where he might be behind on board into the mid game.
Job's done.
And this is going to be one of those games where the first few turns is a little jockeying for position, not a whole lot of stuff happening. But big pickup, Fire Tree Witch Doctor is extremely playable right now.
Yeah, very very strong for sure.
I like that Learn Draconic.
Yeah, spend. So I mean, just playing Conjurer's Calling twice would fulfill that requirement. Right now, that's the only spell Anfal has in hand, and he can't just throw it out at any time. He has to have a decent target for it.
Arcane Breath's a possibility.
Maybe, yeah. I think I might prefer the Arcane Breath here, and it looks like Anfal agrees. Just you get another reroll on a Discover and can actually hit a minion for something. So I think it's a solid choice.
I agree with you in this case. That's probably the better choice. My desire to see the quest get played is not more than a personal desire, and not necessarily the best decision that he could have made. But we'll get a little bit of chip damage here. Probably play the Snap. I don't see why not.
Yeah. Okay. I am not really sure why Anfal chose to ping instead. Yes. So these are both pretty slow decks, right? Kind of control Warlock and what's really a control Highlander Mage. Despite that, I don't think you have to go all out on getting the most value out of all cards. I think playing the Snip Snap on 3 is really solid in terms of pressuring your opponent and making them use their cards perhaps a little bit inefficiently because you have stuff.
Now the Albatross is very interesting though, because that does ruin a lot of what Anfal's trying to do here with the Highlander aspect of the deck. So Reno immediately becomes useless.
Yeah.
that's really, I guess, in the interim, that's not the worst thing. It's probably not something he was going to play immediately anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's going to want to play Zephyrs eventually, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, very solid here. Anfal choosing to go for the Ray of Frost instead, and I would have liked to see the Twilight Drake, but this is consistent with his play of on turn 2 not playing the Snip Snap.
I'm fine with the Ray of Frost if you were going to play the Snip Snap with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Anfal must be waiting for maybe he on turn 6, maybe even on turn 9, really just getting the most value out of he can, as he can out of that. And if you had other solid plays, I think I would get it more, get a little bit more value out of the Echo, but not getting it now, Anfal might be forced into some awkward spots where he has to spend removal inefficiently or when he doesn't want to because he doesn't have those stats.
Well, if he's going to play the Twilight Drake, he should have played it before the Ray of Frost here, so I would imagine that's not what's going to happen.
Nope. We're going to see a lot of pings. This hero power Anfal has every single turn that he's been able to this game. If we see the ping here on the 2-1, which we do.
We're going to see it. I definitely think it's slow. And I mean, this brings up an interesting point just in general Hearthstone theory, or card game theory in general, is the concept of who is the beatdown in a matchup. And I think in this matchup, it's very even. Like, neither deck is extremely aggressive, but recognizing where your hand is early versus where your opponent's hand is early, I think you got to start to put that pressure on as quick as possible.
Yes, and I absolutely agree. We see the payoff here, and I think the line that Anfal was looking for was, let me freeze this Albatross. I don't want to shut my Reno off. I want to make sure on turn 6 I can play this. Reno will be procced. I won't have those Albatrosses in my deck. So he gets the payoff here, but we see it's not super huge. He's just killing off a 4-3. But I think if I had to guess at Anfal's reasoning, it would be that he thought his opponent might have a solid board on turn 6 or 7, and by freezing and stalling that Albatross that was on board, he could keep Reno procced.
Interesting few choices here. None of them say Fireball, which is unfortunate because you probably want as much burn as you can possibly get.
Yeah.
Missiles or Frostbolt do work to that end, but Malagos' Flame Strike is a very nice post-Galakrond option. So I kind of like that as a choice to say, you know what, you're playing your big thing here, and I'm just going to reset the board. But he opts not to. He grabs the Frostbolt for the burn that, it was offered to him.
It depends. Yeah, I think the Frostbolt, it's free, deals 3 to anything. The Flame Strike, I would just worry that you don't get a ton of great situations to play it, and when you do, you're not doing a ton more than just, the base 4 damage to everything. Like you said, really solid if Anfal is thinking about how he wants to set up and respond to that Galakrond turn, but just going for Frostbolt here is fine, I think.
And I will say it was a good idea to play the Malagos, of course, because the Twilight Drake was the reason he was able to play the Malagos and get the proc off of it. So as much as you'd like, maybe that was another option that led into the decision. Yeah. It's like, I'd like to play the Malagos and make sure that I get the spell, so I can't play this Twilight Drake, and that's fine.
Definitely. Definitely a lot of synergies to think about with this deck.
And we're seeing here Mike decides to put down the Netherwing. Doesn't kill the Malagos, but it does take a good chunk out of it. And now, what is he really hoping to do? He can life tap, because obviously he'll be full hand. And there's an Albatross, so guess what? Everything's back online again for Anfal.
Back online. We already saw Reno played, but as soon as Anfal picks up Zeph, he'll be good. And you were talking about the Fireball earlier. Here it is. And it's got to be the pick here.
I think so, because if you're the Warlock, you know that Fireball's not a card run in this deck. So the options from direct damage from hand for the mage are pretty low, which is, odd for a mage deck, of course. But now, if he wants the Frostbolt, he has another 12 damage in hand. 12, 13 if you include a ping. That's actually very, very relevant.
That's insane. And like you said, that this isn't something that Mike is going to be thinking about. He knows decks, it's closed list, but he knows the decks that are commonly run in Highlander Mage. He's not going to be thinking about 13 damage from hand, and Warlock, well, this deck does have a decent amount of heal. Mike is probably going to be tapping a lot. He's going to be getting down pretty low. Anfal could easily just sneak in here with all this burst damage.
And it could be this turn. Mike has a full hand. He's got to play something this turn. He's got a couple options. Godfrey doesn't get anything done here. Nothing dies.
Yeah.
Plague of Flames is a possibility if you want to use it in conjunction with, a small minion, perhaps. Veiled Worshipper's not online. He doesn't want to draw cards anyway. Only one invoke so far. Ziliax is a possibility if he wants to take out a 3-3. He can Ziliax into Plague of Flames, which would clear the board.
I think Mike has a lot of cards in here. So it's a little bit difficult
Yeah,
to see
a little
everything. But I
awkward.
think Nether Breath Coin Godfrey looks like it's could be the line here, because it will be a full
Yeah.
clear.
And that does clear up a lot of hand space. And
Yeah.
I don't see him doing anything else right now. He's already. Well, unless he wants to use Ziliax to kill
He
the
can-
7-1.
He can Zill instead. I personally like going for the Godfrey. It's a full clear. I think Ziliax is probably better in hand later because the Highlander Mage is kind of unlikely to have boards that are Godfrey-able. Does that make sense?
That makes sense to me.
But he does choose to go and takes back the board, and as of now is well out of range of the burst that Anfal has in hand.
Well, Caligos is a good pickup. Definitely something he'll want to probably drop on 10, and gives him options to possibly find even more burst. And this now clears you up to go ahead and play that Twilight Drake if you want to still have anything that needs a dragon to activate in hand. You can do that, but we could see just a really large snip snap or multiple snip snaps.
I mean, this is Anfal. He didn't play the snip snap on 3. He didn't play it on 4. This is what he's waiting for, right? 9 mana, get 3 snip snaps out to play, and seeing that Godfrey come down, it's gonna be pretty awkward for Mike to deal with this.
Yeah, it makes Plague of Flames a lot less effective because something is probably likely to live at least a little bit through it. Does Mike go for the big Alex play? He does.
Wow. Yeah.
He's putting the pressure on. So now this is okay. So let's do some math here. So we've got 6 damage from Anfal. That goes dropped him to 17. Fireball plus the 2 Frostbolts puts him down to 5. So that's not enough yet.
He can't go
Frost
for
Nova?
it yet.
Frost Nova this turn.
Like Nova. I like Nova a lot. He could
Yeah.
he can combine it with Kartut. Actually,
Or even
because he is getting
Caligos.
pretty low.
Caligos
Oh wait,
is-
yeah. Oh, that's better. Yeah. Yeah, Caligos Nova is very strong, and Mike is going to struggle, I think.
He's seen both Nether Breaths so far, so he knows there's no more direct damage from hand.
Wow.
No, I think
I'm not
really need to get a
sure
Frost Nova.
about this play.
No. He's going to try to take the instant heal out of Kartut, I guess.
I get so seeing the Alex from your opponent, right? You get worried, you get put down to 11, you see this threat that your opponent has on board, but we know Mike doesn't have any direct damage. Anfal was actually he was safe with the Nova.
Oh, he's gonna use the Frostbolt instead. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, and this is still okay. Going for the full clear, interesting.
I think
I was
trying to minimize the Plague of Flames possibilities. I can understand, because what are the options here to get as much stuff on board as you possibly can?
Yeah.
You gotta have some Fiendish Rites, which you've already seen one of. He's in a Devoted Maniac. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, this definitely does play around the Plague of Flames. So it makes sense. Because I guess now Mike can't really get a good full clear out.
Yeah, it's gonna take out 5 minions. Let's see which ones.
Yeah. RNG here is going to be really important.
Not bad for Anfal. That's 9 damage.
That's a very solid.
That's lethal. That's still lethal.
9.
9 damage.
Yes, that's
Fireball, Frostbolt, Ping. That's it. That's game.
That's exact damage. Wow. Yeah, I was thinking that I still think that the Caligos Nova would have been solid, but yeah, an easy lethal here. We're going to game 5, folks. Wow.
And it's the series you hoped for after the after the first series. So you're getting your wish tonight. Mages win in back-to-back games.
Yeah, only had about I think a little under 40 minutes for the first match, but already this one has I think taken a little over an hour. So
yeah, we're coming up on just about an hour, and love to bring you the best in content, and we're gonna see a game 5 here, which will be Warlock for that control Warlock here for ItsMeMikeV versus the Rogue.
Warlock versus Rogue. Wow. And and Mike's lost twice on this Warlock already, so this is really gonna be the key. Does the Warlock get swept, or can he clutch it out? and get the win and take the series.
Well, I'll tell you what, this opening hand for Anfal is not inspiring. He's just going to instantly go ahead
Not
and
at all.
mulligan that. And, you know, Mike's isn't looking great either. He'll hold on the sack pact and actually get a second sack pact.
Interesting decision to go for the sack pact here, because now with both of them in hand, it's not a card that you really want early on. Sometimes, like maybe your opponent has an aggressive start, you need that 5 heal, but unless you get a Galakron proc and can actually, use that sack pact on a 1/1, it's going to be really awkward to find. So I would have liked to see Mike just hard maul, look for those Galakron procs, look for the Maniac, for the Shield of Galakron, for the other cards in his deck that can actually give him a board early.
And now the unfortunate reality of the fact that Seal Fate is useless against a Warlock for the most part.
I know. Yeah, when we saw Mike not ping his face with Mage, which kind of makes sense, but a much more straightforward play to tap on turn 2 and play around the Seal of Fate. So
now we know we're going to Seal Fate this 4/3, but do we praise Galakron first? I think that's if you're looking at these next 2 turns, you've got Shield of Galakron into Shield of Galakron, and then a Faceless Corruptor plus a Lackey. I think that's a good play right here.
I like this. Yeah, we saw. I think earlier. I want to say someone in the first match made that play, and then I wasn't sure about it, but I think it makes a ton of sense here. Just looking at Anfal's curve, this is going to line up very nicely.
And I like the dagger as well. There's not too many things that you're going to hit or want to be controlling. Like imps that come out would be the only real thing for Mike. So you can still do that next turn. You got 1 charge of the dagger, but you're going to go ahead and play your Shield of Galakron all day, every day on turn 5. And if you're Mike, like, what are you looking at here? The second Albatross would apparently be the option.
Yeah, coining out the tap. This is actually fine, right? Because he can either.
I mean, it's fine. I think ultimately you probably want to have tapped first. To just see what you get, but yeah, it's fine. And Albatrosses are not the worst thing for Anfal to get because they are great Faceless Corruptor targets.
Yeah, definitely. And this is going to be, a nice backstab here.
Yeah, backstab and for sure.
Yeah.
And that Shield of Galakron will at least hit once. So that draw is Kronks for ItsMeMikeV. Will guarantee that he can have Galakron when he wants it, but it's going to be a sack pack turn. He's got 2 of them. Might as well use them, and that's going to make it a little bit more awkward here. But second Shield of Galakron plus the Rush Lackey would be my option to go ahead and clear and get 4 damage. Nobody, what are you doing?
Interesting. Yeah. I kind of like the other line there. This is still fine. This puts a lot on the board, right? You can just Faceless Corruptor the 1/1, trade it in here, and still looks to be in a pretty solid spot.
It's not the worst, and you haven't seen Mortal Coil. I don't even know if this deck runs Mortal Coil. So the 5/1.
I think we would have seen it at this point. It's the 3rd game, yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. But Dark Skies is a perfect clear. We also saw that the Netherwing was in hand.
Ooh, tap
but I don't think
last.
it's even active at this point. Yeah, he doesn't have another dragon, so that's not a realistic option yet.
Yeah. Anfal picking up all of the invokes now. Gonna be his 4th one here. Yeah, and the Maniac, if he needed a 5th one. Really looking to find Galakron or Kronk soon, but he has some turns to do it.
Great pick here.
That's... Do you not just want the big ol' whelp, though? Like, Albatross is great, but getting the whelp, being able to draw closer to Kronks or to Galakron...
which is fair.
I think was also a valid pick, but you do have Leroy Shadowstep.
Yeah, Leroy Shadowstep with the Albatrosses, I think, is the main driving force behind that decision. And also the fact that you're already on turn 7, so you're only 2 turns away from using it anyway. Yeah. It's not like you played that on turn 3, and you've got this pie in the sky idea that 6 turns from now you're going to drop an on-curve Alex and win this game.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I like the Alex pick. Anfal might have a slightly low turn, just going for the Maniac here, but looking in a very good spot with Alex on 9.
Another low power draw from the Albatross, but we're going to go ahead and see another invoke, because, what's better than 4 invokes?
Deal 2 damage. So this is gonna set up exact lethal.
Yeah,
With
you
if
hold
you can
that back.
Alex on 9, and then Leroy step plus the Lackey plus. Oh no, that's 11 man. So he can't actually do Leroy step plus the Lackey plus hero power in turn, unless he already has the.
Well, he can throw down both Albatrosses here or Lackeys if he wants to. He's not going to. They would have been immediately vulnerable to a potential Netherwing, but not going to see it here. He's going to go ahead and draw 3 cards as Mike picks up the Nether Breath, which is now an active card because of the Crazed Netherwing.
Yeah, I mean that'll come in handy next turn. As of now, you know, Mike, he definitely doesn't want to play the Sacrificial Pact here, and he's going to wait until post Alex to do that, but just doing it here for 3 health doesn't make a ton of sense.
I mean, for what it's worth, yeah, it doesn't make sense to do here. I think that we have to see the Alex here on curve. I think if you're going to use it, right?
I think so, because again, like with the dagger, the Anfal, it would set up lethal, assuming no heals or taunts, and just assuming that the Alex gets cleared. But choosing to go for the Witchy Lackey instead, yeah. So maybe he's trying to set up a position where it's more likely the Alex will stick. Because just Alexing on there, your opponent has so much stuff.
He can Titanic Lackey that 5/5, and it's gonna sit out there.
Yeah. Yeah, opting to go for the board rather than just for a quick kill, and this is a strategy that I think works out for him better in the long run. He knows Mike has a ton of cards in hand. Mike would have been able to come back with Nether Breath, with Sacrificial Pact. So he's setting up, yeah, maybe a little bit of a longer game to get that final win, and this does give him more time to draw Crown as well.
Well, the Dark Skies is unfortunately for Anfal a full board clear.
Wow, yeah. Yeah, Mike has been tapping pretty aggressively here. We saw him point out that tap on turn 4 early, and it's worked out for him, getting a ton of value out of Skies. He's got a ton of stuff in hand. Interesting decision there.
Ooh,
Wow.
Wow.
Damn, both players really just hitting their cards here. Mike's gotten some pretty solid draws, but this Galakron pickup is going to put Anfal back into this game.
All things considered, a pretty low value 4 cards, though.
Damn, really not what you want to see at all. Yeah, Miscreant really the best out of these cards, and only getting a 3-mana discount there.
With that Claw now, if he can get Alex down... Oh, no.
Oh,
no.
This game could get very interesting, and Anfal's he's not gonna want to play the Praise Galakron now. I don't think.
No, go ahead and rush Lackey that show. By the way, it's 2020, and we're talking about show in a competitive match right now.
Yeah, doesn't happen that often. Well, no, he might. I think leave the show on board. See if it messes up anything.
And he's gonna go ahead and hit with the Claw, which to me says he doesn't really care about Alex anymore.
Huh?
I don't know.
And it's also possible he could be playing around in tech, right? Although he has played against this Warlock for 2 games, there's always the chance that, you know, Anfal did bring both Rogue and Warrior, so it wouldn't be out of the question to think that Mike threw an Acidic Swamp Ooze into his deck. Trying
one
to beat
good
that,
Galakron
so.
will deserve another, it would appear. He's gonna life tap first. And here comes Galak.
Yeah. And these rolls are gonna be super important here, because some high impact demons, oh man, that they definitely do a lot for Mike. I think no matter what, he'll be in a good spot.
Two taunts.
Yeah. This is solid. This is very solid. Anfal's probably gonna struggle to deal with this, and the show being unchecked. Now it's really awkward for Anfal to use the Sab or the Abyss.
Yeah. See, now if he had played the Alex last turn instead of the Galakron, he'd have lethal right now.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. I think. Well. I mean, we
not with
could
the
have seen
Galakron.
Mike.
No, not with the 5 armor from the Galakron. Oh,
yeah, no.
No, you don't take Deathwing.
Oh!
You can't take Deathwing. You can't
Oh my
take
God.
Deathwing. You're getting rid of 10 cards. You can't do it. You can take Malagos.
Yeah, even more than getting rid of 10 cards, I feel like it's pretty easy for Mike to deal with that. But wow. Yeah, Malagos, it's just he doesn't have anything that 0 mana spell except from backstab that would benefit from it. So the Welt makes sense.
He's gonna give a backstab. You know what? Does he want to try to fill up the hand? Maybe cause an overdraw of some kind. What are you looking to overdraw? I guess is the real question.
He could burn something. Trying to burn Zeph. Zeph would be a solid burn. Maybe
fair.
I mean this deck runs Dragon Queen Albatrosses, right? The Warlock does.
I think it does. I think it does. In most.
I think it usually does.
I like this because now he can play Eviscerate and it doesn't go to hand.
Oh wow. 300 IQ plays from Mike. Yeah, very solid ordering, and he will get the overdraw too.
The Alex is such a big. I mean, like that
well,
could keep you in the game.
It could, yeah. I'm thinking Anfal's already at 15 now, and Mike doesn't need the heal, but definitely, pretty solid overdraw.
I mean,
sure.
As far as like what you're looking at possibly overdrawing from the deck, you wanted to overdraw something that's either a massive board clear like Plague of Flames, or you want to go ahead and make them lose some of their large win conditions at the end of the game, which in that case would be Alex or Dragon Queen Albatrosses, and I think that's a pretty big hit. And now,
wow.
Obviously, Mike can go ahead and do the same thing to Anfal on the flip side if he would like.
This show has changed the game. At this point, I think it could be anyone's game. I do not know who's going to win.
Kronx comes down, and Kronx is going to make a big taunt. But Sap is a card. You can praise first, and then you can sap so that he doesn't get a... Or he's going to get sap. He's got 2 spaces in his hand right now.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Mike looking to close out this game, making the 8-8, sets his opponent to 7, and it is going to be difficult. Anfal does have this Ancestral Guardian in hand, but it's going to be hard to get the heal out of that. Oh no, he can just Goblin Lackey. Wait.
Well, if he Alexes himself... Wait, is there a way?
I don't know if he wants to Alex himself. Looking at the Ancestral Guardian plus Goblin Lackey plus maybe Faceless Corruptor, he could have taken a lot of stuff off board there. I'm not so sure about.
Big commitment there.
This is tough, and now he can't ever Alex offensively. He doesn't have a ton of value in hand, and his opponent's 30 right now.
He can Alex offensively if he Shadow Steps Alex.
If he Shadow... Oh, man. Do you ever do that, though? Give up the burst potential from Leroy.
I don't think you can.
This is tough. Honestly, I can see it, just because it's only a 9/2. It's gonna die so easily. Man, this is so close.
So this goes and makes a pretty formidable board. That's 12 damage immediately that can be taken. He doesn't have the activator. He doesn't have an activator for Crazed Netherwing, however, in hand. So he can't lethal because he could have sacrificial pacted one of the demons and then use the Netherwing.
But yeah, can't do that. He's gonna get very close to it though. Anfal just has no good way to deal with this wide board from Mike.
Well, now he's got the second Netherwing, so he does have the capability. I don't know. I don't see a way back here.
Man.
Mana Saber, another dead draw, unfortunately.
This is tough.
Lackey, Spell Lackey, not Titanic Lackey.
Would have had to be the Spell Lackey, I think. Yeah. Oh man, I think that's gonna do it.
Unfortunately, I think this game was lost when he did not play the Alex aggressively. Like, I think picking up the Alacron ended up being kind of a red herring because he had the tools that he needed in that Albatrosses, and unfortunately, just was not there. Probably gonna have to throw the sap out here to just take some damage off the board.
Well, yeah. So let's think. He can elite sap the 5/4 here. But Mike has Ziliax, so that's just enough, right?
I was gonna say, if he Shadow Steps the Titanic Lackey, that's another option.
Even if Anfal can survive this turn, which I don't think that he can. I haven't done the math exactly.
Well, he definitely can if he didn't sap,
But,
so...
Yeah.
He's gonna have to hit it with something, which will give him 5 health, so he's gonna go up to 10.
Right.
Ziliax will clear it, which means it no longer has Taunt, which then is 10 damage, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 on board is more than enough. So that should be, be it. Oh,
Nope, that's it. That...
What was Everest will also...
this is... Yeah. Yeah, that's also
Zephyrus
lethal.
into any sort of damage, yeah.
Sure, yeah,
Bloodlust,
why not? Yeah, oh man, what a game 5. That's crazy. Donde, I'm sorry, you had to see your teammate lose on stream.
Wow.
Never fun, but at least it was a good game.
I tell you what, you know what's going to happen is there's no more ZILFS playing on stream anymore because this is just not how we do.
This was it, huh?
that was a lot of losses on stream for us here.
Oh man, yeah. That was crazy. A lot of back and forth. Lord Rocker Show changed the game pretty significantly, but ultimately, yeah, Anfal, like you said, I think maybe there were some lines that could have gone for an offensive Alex and had a solid chance to win the game, but Anfal just never really able to get a solid lead on the board and actually convert that into a win. So yeah, congrats to Mike taking it a close 3-2 victory.
Yeah, it was a heck of a series, and definitely one that I'm glad that we were able to showcase because it was very back and forth. Unlike what we witnessed in Game 1 or Series 1, I should say, where Shoebacca, most of the mistakes were like the minor ordering and whatnot. I do feel like there were some lines that were taken in the second series that were not optimal, and that I think was what resulted in what we saw there, where the series definitely could have gone either way, and it went the way it did because of the decisions that were made.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I don't think, like, nothing stands out to me as being like, oh, that's like, you know, obviously you like missed this amount of damage or like didn't clear an important minion. It was more like macro lines, like, you know, deciding to play for tempo versus value and the role of certain cards in the game. But yeah, I think definitely a lot of different decisions that could have been made, but overall, pretty solid play and very exciting. Definitely more exciting than our actual one for this one.
No offense to the participants.
No.
As I mean, that's just how Hero goes sometimes. That's how Last Hero Standing is. Sometimes you matchup 1 is what you're trying to really make sure that you get your sweep capability, and if you don't get it in that first game, you open yourself up to the counter sweep, and that's exactly what we saw. So that's unfortunate, but that's how it went for Shunsui. And second series, you know, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention that this does make this is a win for GLA now, as they're now up 13-8, which means that even with a cold sweep tomorrow, would only be a 13-12 win, but still a win for GLA nonetheless. So you're looking to, you know, hopefully minimize the damage. ZILFS can still be number 1 after this week with a good showing tomorrow. But for the week right now, it goes to Good Luck Albatrosses, and ZILFS suffers their first loss of the season.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's true. First loss. That's, damn. What a time to have it. Well, I'm sure you guys will... Again.
Better now than in the playoffs. That makes ZILFS 5-1. GLA will also be 5-1.
5-1,
which means they will still be the only 5-win teams in the Red Conference. And I wouldn't be surprised to see this matchup again come playoff time.
Right, and just looking at the points here, I would feel pretty confident that, you know, maybe like you said, ZILFS will still be in first place after this week. I mean, depends on the results of the Quills match, actually, but, you know, still pretty likely going to playoffs. We're going to see ZILFS and Albatrosses as the 1 and the 2, so probably won't change a ton there, assuming y'all both win your quarters matches. Likely to see a semis matchup here, but nice to see a little preview this week.
Definitely. And as we mentioned, the hero standings there, Teen Hard Legends is now in a great position to be in the playoffs. They were only 2 points up on the 5 seed, which is Nostormu, and Nostormu was up 4-1 right now, so it's still early in the week for them, but this is going to probably put a little bit more separation between that 3 and 4 slot in Hero, because the Burnators are up 9-4 on DSM-5 right now, and they're in the 3 slot. And after that, the gap gets kind of big between them and the top 2 seeds. So might see some separation here. Big week for Nostormu. They're going to need to really turn it on here in order to keep this a 5-team race in Hero.
Yeah, a lot that could happen. Yeah, overall, two solid matches tonight. Donde, you have anything else you want to say before we head off?
No, that's all I got. Other than, of course, thank you for everyone tuning in. And if you do remember to hit that subscribe button and follow us. You have a Twitch Prime subscription that is free, and we do appreciate that. It allows us to continue to bring you better and more varied content, and continue to fund our prize pools for our off-season tournaments. So you're most appreciated if you do that. But thank you guys for tuning in. Markshire, thank you for being with me as always. I really appreciate it. Hopefully we can do this more often.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hopefully I can I can make some time to cast again this season. Try to make it happen.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all again. Good luck in the rest of your matches this week, and we will see you next Saturday. Tomorrow is not only is it Sunday, but it is also there's a Sunday stream tomorrow evening, and those are going to have a couple games there for you available, which I'm pulling up right now. Nice. Markshire, you're one of those matches against Hockey Boys at 8 o'clock. Yeah, 8 o'clock tomorrow night, and Typhoon versus Lesmos. Both of these are Aeon versus Beard Boys, so if you like pro action, come on down. And if you would prefer, the afternoon has Schoolstone at 2 p.m. There are 2 matches there as well, with Itachi playing Inzi, also in the pro circuit. And there was a second match I think Lotus informed me of that I just didn't write down. So I think there are actually 2 matches on Sunday afternoon. So 4 matches tomorrow in THL land.
Wow, that is some huge content.
Yeah, big content.
Incredible. Big, yeah. So. Looking forward to it. And if either I or Typhoon win, I believe we will clinch the week and get the win over the Beard Boys. But of course, Absolutely. they could do it if Hockey and Lesmos both win. But either way, both should be very excited matches. I'm excited to play on stream.
So, quick adjustment. It is a 1 p.m. start for Schoolstone, because the match is before. It's Skittles versus Robobson, which is another awesome match. So
wow.
That is a pro match as well. So it is 4 pro matches.
Yeah. That'll be fun, and I believe so that's Taste the Rainbow against FTL. I believe Correct. Taste the Rainbow is already up. Yes, they're up 4-2. Brick got the 3-2 win over Berserk in the 2 seed. So pretty exciting. After Taste the Rainbow getting swept last week, I think most people would definitely say FTL is the favorite here, but jumping out to an early lead.
Yeah, still plenty of matches to go there. 4 of the 5 unplayed, but interesting, because this is a big match. If Aeon can take out Beard Boys, and FTL gets taken down by Taste the Rainbow, this could be a 3-way race for the top seed among those 3 teams going into the final 2 weeks of the season, or final 4 weeks of the season, or 3 weeks. How good is your match?
Final
8, 9, 10, 11,
wait
4 weeks.
3, 4. Okay, yeah, 4 weeks.
plenty of time left. Yeah, pro goes longer than the other 2 series, but yeah, it's still anybody's game this season.
Pretty, I mean the parity that we're seeing in pro is honestly pretty impressive. Like no team except Beard Boys. Oh no, Beard Boys are not undefeated. They have 1 loss still. So no team is undefeated. We see huge upsets. It feels like almost every week, at least for the past 3 or 4 weeks. So who knows what'll happen. And
it should also be noted that Pro Pain Gang, the only winless team right now, is up 10-9 on the unknown with 1 match to go. Desharmo versus sub of Dr. Bomb.
Wow.
Sage subbed in for Darkside and got a 3-0 sweep over Ron Mexico.
That's so okay. I checked. They also must have played while we were casting, because I checked this evening. I thought, and Sage against Ron Mexico only results in, but you're right. Coming down to the newcomer Dr. Bomb D against the board member Desharmo. That's going to be a good one.
Yeah, and in big respect to Desharmo, he was my opponent last night. Played a great series. Again, feel free to go back and watch that series and see my pain in real time. Just a lot of time that you will have to set aside to watch that series, but it is well worth it because there were some really fun matches in there. But yeah, that's it. I mean, we could talk about standings forever. I feel like tonight.
Yeah,
There's so many
we should. Yeah.
I encourage anybody who's still interested in taking a look at the standings to go to our website, teamhearthlegends.com, and you can feel free to check those out. They're ever changing, and join us in the Discord too if you're not already there. But that's going to do it for us. So thank you again, Markshire.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to be here.
Well, good night, everybody, and we will see you tomorrow afternoon, 1 p.m. Eastern for Schoolstone with Lotus Knight. Have a good night.